The Karen Show. The Karen Show. The Karen Show. Let's go. Let's go. The Karen Show.
Hello. Hi, everybody. And here's Enzo. We're both here. It was a quick intro. I can see Christian's there. I don't know who else might be lurking. It's probably just us. It's me, you, and Christian.
There's Heather. Heather's in the chat.
Oh, there's Heather. There we go. Hello, Heather. Oh dear, I haven't seen you since I was in Melbourne, Enzo. And yes, we're going to talk about graveyards and stuff, but we'll let people pop in. Yes, I was with Heather down in Melbourne. Oh, crikey. Was it last weekend, Heather? I've lost track. Or the weekend before? I've forgotten. It was a weekend before. That's right. And we went to a Titanic 3D experience. Oh, not 3D. The glasses you put on, the headset, virtual reality.
VR,
yeah. And you had to put on the head things. It was really cool. If it comes to you somewhere, it's probably already there somewhere that you can do in these VR experiences, but it was really well put together. It was like you could reach out and touch them, but you knew they were cartoonish. You knew it wasn't real, but you got to walk into the Titanic and look out the windows at people waving, and again, all sort of cartoonish, not cartoonish.
Stand out on the bow.
No, I don't know. Heather might be able to. I didn't try, because when you've got the headset on and you walk a certain distance away, there's a thing comes up like a grid. You can't go any further. So I didn't actually test out if there was the bow. You could walk out in the bow, but you can't. It's not that. It's not. It's like you're in a game. I guess. But because it's like a
Escape the Titanic. You're below decks, and the ship is sinking. You have to get out in time and find a door to hold on to. Not that fat girl off.
I couldn't do that. Yeah, I can't. I can't remember who it was. I heard someone while we were leaving say, "Oh." I can't remember if it was one of us or if it was someone from another group saying they were disappointed that it wasn't an experience of the ship sinking. And I'm like, oh, bugger that. I wouldn't want to experience what it must have felt like to be told, quick, shit, get in the lifeboats. But it was very interesting. They did it from a perspective that you could go underwater and walk around and look at the Titanic as if you're a giant, and you can look at the ship. They had the staircase. You could walk down the staircase. Because it's virtual, though, you can't actually walk downstairs, but your brain wants you to walk down the stairs, but there's no stairs.
Yeah.
So I had to remember, I just shuffled because I knew I'd probably bloody go way up or something, but you don't. It sort of just goes down with you as you walk forward, but it's still trippy on the brain. But we had good fun. It was really good fun, and I enjoyed it. And then I went to, we went out for dinner as well. And then I took my daughter the next day. We went to see, was it that night? The next day we went to the Old Melbourne Jail, which I'm still finishing an episode on, and I talked about a little bit last week when you weren't here, Enzo. And then that night, my daughter booked tickets to go and see an improv. You know how, what improv is, a comedy improv show, in a tiny little theatre. Well, a building with one of the rooms set up as a theatre, and that was fun. Hi, Carla. So yes, had some good fun, which was nice. But there you go. Well, Carla's here. Heather's probably gone off. Oh no, Heather's still there. So maybe I don't know. I can't see. Oh, there's 3 people. I don't know if they're watching or whatever. But yeah, I just I was going through other stuff too on my computer, and I was looking at all my old videos on where I've been to graveyards, cemeteries, and I was watching another creator the other day who went to the graveyard or cemetery, whatever I like to say, graveyard in Edinburgh. Oh God, I've gone blank. The really famous graveyard in Edinburgh, where I went as well. And he was walking around and he was talking about how one of the things are haunted and all that sort of thing. And I thought, gosh, I've been to so many cemeteries, so many, like in Virginia City, in Kentucky, in Canada, England, here, like so many. And I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I've heard all the stories about how they can be haunted and stuff, and I've gone to some at night time as well, but not by myself. That's a bit creepy, and I don't think you should investigate, like do an investigation in a cemetery. I think that's disrespectful to the dead. But if you're walking through the cemetery and you look, and it's nighttime, and you're looking at the gravestones or whatever, and something happens, oh, well, that's a bit different, I guess, if you see something or hear something. But yeah, I'm not one on thinking that you should walk into a graveyard with gadgets and, oh, can you hear me? Like, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I don't know. But mind you, when I was at the one in Edinburgh, Greyfriars, there, I came back. Greyfriars Cemetery is a very famous one. But there's a thing there, yeah, I know, Heather, I know. But I still like that. Maybe they all were once. But yeah, cemeteries are sort of just off, probably they just put cemeteries off in places people don't go anymore. Graveyard's so much more romantic, and that's what Greyfriars is anyway. That's a graveyard because the church is right in it. But yeah, there's a tomb there, Bloody MacDonald. Oh, I probably got that name wrong too. His last name's a Mook anyway. But I was there and they were doing a tour, and he was a really bad guy who killed a lot of people and ordered the deaths of a lot of people. And they say that his tomb had to be exorcised, and somebody did the exorcism on the tomb, and a few days after he passed away. This will be the death of me, he was supposedly have been quoted as saying, and he did an exorcism on the tomb because people said that people would go into the graveyard and be overcome with illness, or things would happen to them. They'd go home and things would happen to them. But I just when I was there, they said that it's said that if you speak to him or knock on the door of his tomb or whatever, you'll be like, bad things will happen. And I'm like that. So I got up and went, oi, and knocked on the door. And I said, there's nothing going to happen. Nothing did happen. So I just in case, I said to the ghostie, if he was there, that I'm from Australia and you were pretty nasty, mate. And people just laughed. But yeah, was Heather saying, I don't think graveyard is even used anymore. No, I don't think anyone says it anymore, and probably for that reason, Heather, because graveyards aren't a thing anymore. Like if you go to a church and I'll say there's a graveyard off to the side. Like I still use that word, but I'm old, Heather. I'm old. Yeah, and Carla doesn't think so either. But yeah, I just wonder because
next time you have Jess on, ask her about the graveyard down there where they live, because they got stories about that graveyard.
Well, yeah, I just kind of think if any place is going to be haunted, I wonder why. I can see why some graveyards cemeteries, whatever you want to call them, would be haunted if perhaps a grave had been fiddled with or touched, or like back in the old days where they had grave diggers, like like the robbers, beg your pardon, that would go in and do steal the bodies. Like so much of a dark history around graveyards going back in time where people would do that. And they did it in America as well. They robbed the graves there too. But I just sort of think a cemetery / graveyard, whatever. I'll probably say graveyard all the way through, guys, because that's what I call them. But I can see why, if I were a dead person and for whatever reason attached to my body in a hole in the ground and I was there with it, I might not like it if people come in and do stuff. So I might like to try and scare them away. I don't know. I try and think, why would the graveyard be haunted? I don't get it, because once you're dead, you're not in that body anymore. You're somewhere. Right. You're just not. It's a piece of meat. Although the living are attached still to the piece of meat. And speaking from experience, you are. That it's not them. Do you know what I mean? So you know it's not them. They're gone. So I think that's why it puzzles me as to why a graveyard could be haunted. But I do think too, maybe bad things happen in cemeteries. That's another thing. Like I said, there's the grave robbing, and then you've got things like murders that could take place. Like I know one of our graveyards here in Queensland, the property where it is, or cemetery it is, although there's a church on that one too. But anyway, the property where that is, there was back in, I think, the 80s, there was some murders of young ladies that took place in the cemetery. So where there's a murder victim, where there's a bad energy, something really bad has happened, that absolutely could be a reason for a haunting, I think. But yeah, I don't know what else I think of it otherwise. I don't know. I suppose you've never had to think about that sort of thing, have you, Enzo?
Not so much. Just my tour of this one particular cemetery that Jess and the whole Caney crew have investigated in the past. That's like their number one thing is super respectful. Don't go, if there's another person in there like visiting a gravesite, they don't even go in there. But it's very remote, and it's surrounded by a lot of like a wooded area all around it, which I'll get to that in a second. But they have some sensitive people that have taken out there, and they said they have like specific personalities. There's like a little boy that hangs out there, they said, that always tries to play with them and stuff like that. One of the things I was kind of shocked at is while they were just investigating this place, because it's not, especially like compared to Europe, it's not that old. It's most of the graves are like, I don't even know if they have a death date in the 1800s. It's like all in like the 19 teens and 20s.
Oh, okay. So the turn of the century sort of start.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But they said that there was one gravesite they came across that someone had come by, obviously afterwards, and at first they thought it was just like regular old vandalism, because it was all marked up with chalk all over the tombstone, and the grass and all that stuff was all chewed up and actually dead around the actual gravesite. They started looking at it. It's like, wait a minute, there's a system that they took a bunch of pictures and went back and researched it, and it was all like old school hex stuff.
Yeah.
Somebody was putting a curse on the family, or I don't know, but they looked like they researched enough to like how to get rid of that stuff, and they went out there and cleaned it up properly, and all that. And they only go out there maybe a couple times a year. And the next time they went out there, many months later, all the grass was green around it, which they didn't do anything to the grass, but all the grass around it, this like cone around it was just all brown and dead. But they didn't do anything to grass, and it was all green and nice again.
So they took the bad juju off. So yeah. What's Heather say? I've said it before and I'll say it again. I'm going to be haunting my house if Werner brings home someone I don't like. I'm poltergeisting the shit out of them. Oh, gosh. And Auntie Heather poltergeist, yes. It's interesting too. That's what I think though, Heather. I think however happens when we go, that's what I mean. I think if something like that, a place, anything really, be it a graveyard, whatever it is that's haunted, if it's actually haunted by an entity of some description, the soul of somebody who maybe some souls don't cross, they can't because they're anchored to a place or a time or whatever. They just, anchored to an ex, someone that they've been with all their life and they've passed away, and you sort of hope you don't. You sort of hope if you're going to die, you head off wherever it is we're supposed to go. But maybe that's the thing too, like what you were saying, Enzo, with Jess saying that they think there's a little boy in the graveyard. It might not be a little boy who's buried in the graveyard. Maybe it's a little boy whose mother is buried in the graveyard, because kids don't. As a child, if you're little and you're told this is where, like with my grandchildren, if they're being taken to their daddy's grave every birthday, every Christmas, whatever, and being told daddy's here, his body is, but he's not. Do you know what I mean? But maybe does that mean that if you were a child and got sick and passed on, in your brain, in your little head, you think that that's where daddy is? So does that mean that that's where you go to be with daddy? I don't know. There's so many theories on what it could be. But I could think of better things to haunt than a graveyard or a cemetery or where my body is. I've already said if I die, I don't want a funeral. Like I don't want to, obviously I have to have a funeral because people want to make money, but I don't want a service or anything like that. Just I'm dead, job's done, burn the body, spread the ashes, right? Just whatever. But so I don't particularly, want that. I did say if I die, spread some of the ashes where Stephen's grave is, just some, but all of them, whatever you want to do, because it's only ashes. But yeah, I don't know. I still can't wrap my head around why someone who's passed away and their body is in the cemetery, why they would haunt their own grave.
I'll add another layer of weirdness on top of that.
Go ahead.
This particular cemetery I'm talking about that Jess knows about, it's also apparently in the wooded area that surrounds it has a Bigfoot.
I was going to say, is there a Bigfoot?
As it turns out, in Bigfoot lore, it is not uncommon to see them or to know of them hanging out around cemeteries for some reason. And this one is no exception, to the point where they were out doing their thing and it was getting late in the day. It wasn't quite dark yet. And they heard something inside of the tree line, something big breaking like large branches. They were like, what the hell is that? We don't really have bears in that area or anything like that. Something big is, running through the woods. And then they start noticing that rocks are being thrown at them from quite a distance away. That's the other thing that Bigfoot do, is they throw rocks from a distance to try and scare you off. One of their investigators got hit right in the forehead with it and started bleeding like crazy, like any kind of head wound you get. So they had like, okay, we're getting out of here because this guy's going to bleed out if we don't, not because we're scared off of a Bigfoot. And one of their other times where they went, there's a long straight road going to the cemetery, and they were wondering about this Bigfoot. Is this real? Did we just totally? I don't know who someone was throwing rocks. Somehow rocks were getting thrown out there where they were at in the open. So there's something out there. And they put a recorder on top of a fence post near like where the entrance area is. And then they drove around the thing and just did a loop, just drove through to make sure nobody had been messing with any of the graves, whatever weirdos had messed with that one grave didn't come back to seek their revenge or whatever it is. And so not even 25, 30 minutes. And then they just drove out because they were just driving by that area. They just did a loop real fast around it. And they go out there. The recorder isn't on top of the fence post anymore. So they're looking around, and a short distance away, it was laying on the ground. They pick it up because they just put record and walked away. And it's got a physical switch. It's not even like a button. It's a physical toggle type switch on it to turn it off and on. It was switched off. Like, what? So they listen to it. They hear the part where they're talking, and they put it on the post, and they hear their vehicle drive away. Not even like a few minutes pass, and they hear rustling in the brush. They can hear, rustling through the high grass and the weeds and stuff like that around it. And they heard a really loud, like something grunted or something like that. And then you hear the clatter of whenever you grab something like that and just rattle it around a little bit, and then it just shuts off. So there's something weird going on there all the way around. So it's not just ghosties down my neighborhood. So
well, there you go. I just wanted to show the other thought I had. I've always heard, when people talk about bears and they go, oh, it's not a bear. Bears can't, whatever. Even gorillas lately, I've noticed when I see footage of gorillas at the zoo, a lot of them are walking upright, like proper upright. I'm like, what the hell? When did that start happening? Because before that, not so much. but I've been seeing a lot of bear stuff, and I'm like, if you're in the bush or in the forest or whatever, and we're looking for a Bigfoot, and you saw this through the brush, look how this little one walks. Little one is a big one, but look. I mean, you could really, and they're all doing it apparently. Look. So if you're, look at it.
It's in somebody's yard.
But it's so cute. But what I'm saying is, if you're at a distance and you see that, there's every opportunity that you're going to think that's a Bigfoot, because they get huge, don't they?
They can get pretty big. Not down around like where I'm at, but out in the western U.S., in the northern parts, they can get pretty big. That's a black bear. Black bears are fairly harmless. You could smack your hands and say, "Hey, bear!" They make a lot of racket, and
they'll run away.
Get out of here. Yeah.
Yeah, but you know me, I'd be, hey, bear. That's what my friend Taylor says, because she's got a black bear that comes up to her rubbish bin. She still hasn't been able to catch it on film for me, because every time she sees it or hears it, it's and it's gone. And I said, and I've already said to her, I said, I promise. I said, well, I'll be mindful because she's got the dogs there, but I said, I can't say, I don't know what I would do. I know I wouldn't go up and try and touch it, but look how cute they are. Like, I'm not stupid. I don't want to get ripped apart by a bear, but oh, there you go. Taylor's listening. Yeah. Oh, gorgeous. Yeah, that's what I mean, Taylor. It's kind of like I can't. I know I want to protect the dogs, and I know I want to protect Taylor, but I'd be so tempted to just take like a loaf of bread out there or something and go there. It'd probably go. Maybe I think, I don't know, Taylor. I'd probably be more scared of me than I would have it. But yeah. Oh, maybe it's a ghost bear.
It's just an anomalous bear. It's ghosts, UFOs, cryptids. You can't get a clear picture of them.
That's probably what it is. That's probably what it is. Oh gosh, but yeah, certainly, like, yeah, absolutely, some strange things can happen for sure. But I'm just looking for. Oh, there we go. It's all right. I'm just doing something. I'm talking to myself. There we go. That's. I'm just looking. Isn't that weird? I was going to say, remember when Sonny told us that story about his Bigfoot? And I've clicked on because I want to send. Sometimes weird things happen. I was thinking when you're telling the Bigfoot story about throwing the rocks, when Sonny told us the story that happened to him, and I was just gonna I'm just gonna do this now. Only if you're around, Taylor. I don't know what time it is there. But I was just thinking, I'll just send Taylor an invite. And as I've done that, Sonny, don't ask why, Sonny's name is second from the top in my messenger. Like, how does that even happen? But there you go. Maybe Sonny's watching. I hope he's not. I hope he's with his family watching them instead. Oh, God. Yeah, you still miss people. It doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you miss their faces. And even sometimes too, I miss people that used to pop up all the time, like Daniel used to, who passed away, who used to pop up and have something to say. You miss people. So there you go. But there you are. Life happens, and so does death. It sucks.
Yeah.
But yeah, bears. I absolutely adore all animals. The wild horses, bears, raccoons, which I still have to get one day. I'll get there. I was telling Taylor the other day, I am working now, good paying job, so I'm able to start saving. So new job. I don't want to take a holiday straight away. Wait till you get your leave in, but as soon as I can, I'll be back. But I was watching something the other day about Virginia City, because I'm on the pages, and things pop up when they had their 4th of July, and Taylor sent me a little video of the 4th of July, and I'm like, why can't things just be like, it's time, guys, to invent that machine that pops you where you want to be.
Teleporter, yeah.
Teleport, yeah. Maybe Elon Musk needs to concentrate more on something like that, some fast method of. There has to be something faster than an aeroplane. It shouldn't take me 24 hours or more to get to America. It's longer. I can get to America quicker than I can get to the United Kingdom, which is interesting. The United Kingdom's further away. So there you go. But I will be back. I will be back. There's some great cemeteries and graveyards there, but cemeteries then, because there's no, and they say cemetery. It says cemetery. There's no churches on those, but there's some great ones there in Virginia City and just out near where Taylor is, just out of town a bit. There's some really, they're old, not 1600s old, because that area is not that old, but certainly interesting to look at. Some of the ones that were really old were the ones I saw in, I always want to say Canada, and yeah, sort of like, there were some old ones there, but and some really great, like when you go to some of the cemeteries, some of the monuments to people, they had to have been in their day, like turn of the century and even before, not this century, 19th century, had to have been the equivalent to billionaires, because some of these are like monument, like buildings,
big obelisks. Yeah.
Yeah, and you think, whoa, even Kentucky Fried Chicken, Colonel Sanders, his grave is a monument. Like, well, he was rich, I guess. The good old Colonel Sanders. Actually, speaking of Kentucky Fried Chicken, Why is it that whenever you go past a Kentucky Fried Chicken restaurant, the smell, you just want to go in and eat? But then you get in there and you get the chicken and you take it home to eat it or whatever, and it's greasy and icky and doesn't taste, it's not good. But I have, on the odd occasion, I have had it where it tastes really good, but it must have just been cooked fresh or something.
Yeah, that's it. You got to get it while it's hot. It's
You've got to get it while it's hot.
Any kind of fast food like that, you got to get it when it's hot.
Yep.
I get so annoyed if I get like lukewarm fries or something like that. I just
there's nothing worse. That's what, and the funny thing is, though, I must admit, when I was in America and went to your Kentucky Fried Chicken, we don't have it here. We don't get this dish there, but you've got the bowls, like you had a bowl. We do have one bowl here, but it's something ridiculous. It's stupid. And it was all it was mashed potato or potato gravy and the chicken bites. Oh my God. And I'm like, oh, yum, 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 yum. And the potato tasted good. It didn't taste, the potato we've got in our
mashed potatoes and gravy are delicious.
Oh, and it was that. So it was a bowl. Oh, and corn. I'm pretty sure I had corn on it. It was the bowl with the.
I made the Thanksgiving version of that for myself. I've done it a couple of times actually, where layer of mashed potatoes, layer of gravy, layer of corn, layer of gravy, layer of turkey that I cube up. I'll get like a big turkey breast and just cube it up, and another layer of gravy. The dressing, layer of gravy. Everything's got a layer of gravy in there. And,
I love potatoes and gravy.
Is it good?
Yeah. But that's the thing. I will, if I do come back to America, which it's not if I do, when I do, I will go down to Carson City. I'm sure that must have been where I got it. Yeah, it was. Yes, it was in Carson City. I'm pretty sure Carson City, to their Kentucky Fried Chicken, and I'm going to get myself a bowl of potato, gravy, corn, and chicken because we don't have it here. There's a few other things you do there. I think the desserts, it's not completely different, but different. You've got American KFC is better than Australian KFC, like what you can get, the range of foods you can eat. Here it's just chicken, potato, fries. Every now and then they have the wraps, like you can get the chicken in the wrap and stuff like that. It's very boring, really. You get spoiled when you're in America. That's but that is what it is. But yeah, I just I got off the subject then. That is weird how I went in to send Taylor a message and Sonny's name was there, and I had just been thinking about his story of the Bigfoot. I wonder if where Sonny went, Heather doesn't like the US KFC. Oh, I love it. Love it, Heather. Maybe you went to a bad restaurant. Maybe the one in Carson City is a good one. I don't know.
I didn't even know that they had this, but I shared a thing. Apparently they have a mac and cheese bowl where it's macaroni and cheese with the the nuggets in it all covered in cheese.
Oh, yum!
Look at that.
How to get fat in 1 week? Imagine if
I'm gaining weight looking at it.
Oh, the mac and cheese one I'd like to. It's a famous bowl. Would that be the one I got? Because that looks like corn on top of that. It says famous
these are
bowl.
some others, but I don't even know how old this ad is. I just saw it. Oh, there we go. Nashville hot loaded fry bowl. It's got French fries in it.
It's got pickles on it. Oh no, that'll be.
And there's a pickle in there.
Yeah, pickles. Oh. What's that? We have a mac and cheese box, but it looks nothing like that. That's what I mean. It's probably crap.
You can make this yourself. Make it at home. That's what I did.
Well, yesterday I was with Emily. We went to the supermarket. I grabbed some chicken. I was going to cook up some lunch. And all I could smell, because there's a KFC near our shopping centre, and I said, oh, geez, it smells good. Maybe we should just go in and get some pieces of chicken. And we got in the car, and Emily's going, yeah, go on. And she said, there's no one in the drive-through. And I said, no. Number one, it's expensive. Number 2, we're going to buy it, take it home. It's going to be really greasy, and I'm going to regret wasting my money. So I had the strength, and I completely avoided it. We have Zinger fillets and burgers. They are delicious. Oh, we've had Zingers for years. The burgers. Yeah.
I don't remember where I heard it, but I guess like one of the things to do is KFC is really popular in Japan. It's ridiculously over the top popular, and apparently it's like a traditional thing for people to go to KFC on Christmas Day for some reason. That's where everybody go. I guess.
I suppose there's chicken there. I don't know. I wonder if they do turducken. Turducken? Is that what you call it? Turducken. Turducken, isn't it? Turducken.
Yeah, it's a turkey, chicken, and a duck.
Yeah.
All, wrapped up together with spices and everything else. I've never had one, but it sounds delicious.
I'll make you my homemade fried chicken when you come. Oh, that sounds even better. I know the recipe for the the coating. You can find recipes for that around the place. I think there's a coating for fried chicken that comes pretty close to Colonel Sanders' thing. I would like to just get a job for an hour in Kentucky Fried Chicken, but I don't think the problem is I don't think they. Back in the day, it's my understanding, it used to all be done on site, coating of the chicken and the deep frying. Now, I think, I could be wrong, I think all the chicken is pre-coated somewhere else and sent to the stores.
Yeah, it's way faster that way, probably.
Yeah, so you wouldn't necessarily be able to bring home a bucket of the coating to use at home. But if you can, and if anybody, I'd certainly, because then I'd coat my chicken in that, not a problem, easy peasy, and put it in the what do we call that thing, Heather? Yeah, I like Red Rooster. I didn't see one in America. I don't think they have Red Rooster in America, not to my memory. Yeah, Red Rooster here is just a place where you go in, and it's chicken that they marinate for a while, then they roast it and cut it. So it's just regular chicken, but it tastes good. It's quite good.
Rooster, no.
Very tasty.
We got a Red Robin.
I'm getting hungry now.
It's a burger.
Yeah, I think Red Rooster is Australian. That's probably why. And I don't think there's anything. Do you have any restaurants over there that are just fried, not fried chicken, like a roasted in the spit? A roasted chicken, and you get fries and so. I don't think you.
Boston Market is a chain, I think, that does that.
Oh, all right. There you go. So you might
traditional side, mashed potatoes and gravy and green beans and all
that's it. Yeah, that's what Red Rooster is. Yeah, you traditional, like you get your roast potato, peas, gravy, fries, chicken pieces, and then they have their tropical pack, which is your chicken, fries, and a pineapple fritter. And they used to do banana fritters back in the day. They don't do them anymore. And it's banana fritters. That's my favourite. Do you know what a banana fritter? You know what a banana fritter is, don't you? It's a banana. Here you get them in a Chinese restaurant. If you go out for Chinese for dessert, you can say, I want a banana fritter and ice cream, and they bring you out. It's a banana dipped in a corn flour type batter and then deep fried. And then you put it on your plate and you scoop ice cream on it with maple syrup. Yeah.
You had me at deep fried. You could deep fry an old tire. I did.
US don't have chicken and fish shops or bakeries. Oh, they have bakeries. Yeah. I've been in Carson City's got a nice bakery you go into. They've got bread and they've got cakes. That's down in Carson City. I can't remember the name of it. So I have been to a bakery, but maybe not like we have them, Heather. I don't know. James, where are you? I don't know, James. Where could you possibly be? Where in the world is James? But yeah, so there you go. But
I'm looking
yes, Taylor. That's what it was called. They've got cakes and stuff. I'm sure they've got bread in there and other hot foods. Am I wrong? Do I remember incorrectly? That's also where I got, it's not here for me to grab, but it was really cold when I was there last time because it was November, and they had a gift shop type you walk in and there was gifts to buy on this side, and I got my little white fluffy head thing to keep my head warm. Yes, it's delicious in there. Their cakes are really nice. That's where I'll go again if I'm ever down that way. I like Carson City too. If I went to live in America, I want to live in Virginia City, but if I found myself needing to go to bakeries and big stores and stuff, I don't know, I still think I'd just live in Virginia City and just travel down to Carson City. And when I know we're going to get snowed in, I'd go down to Carson City into you know, wherever, and buy lots of stuff to load up in my freezer. Oh, what's Taylor saying? That is world famous. Well, the original one is famous anyway, but that is an offshoot. The original one is in Bishop, California on the 395. Ooh. Hi, Tanya. I'm going to have to look that one up, Taylor. I didn't know, actually, because it was my friend Connie. It took me there. We were in Carson City. We'd gone to the Railroad Museum, and on the way back, she said, "Do you want some cake?" And I went, "Yeah." So we went to the bakery. She took me there, and we got some cakes, and we took them home, and they didn't last very long. No wonder I came back the side of a house. I tell you what.
It's easy to do.
Oh, there Cheryl says hello to you, Enzo. What was that? We don't have a red rooster. Always go there. Oh, so Kiwis don't have the red rooster.
Oh.
Interesting. Shepherd's bread and chili cheese bread. Ooh. Oh, look. I'm so hungry now. But I went to our bakery yesterday and I brought some fresh bread. So when I finish this live stream, I've got some fresh bread there that I'm going to toast up and put some ham on, and an egg. That will be my breakfast this morning. I did once find a Vietnamese deli similar to what we have here, and has a roast pork roll. That was in Frisco. Oh, there you go. We do. You must have just gone to the wrong parts of America, Heather, because I don't know, the places I've been, I've managed to always find some sort of a bakery or a local, local
there's always
shop.
a bakery somewhere nearby.
Yeah. But when there's a bread shop my daughter likes, and I think it's just called The Bread Shop or something like that, but it's a Japanese chain, and it's here, and it's in the big shops, like the big stores. And she took me in there on the weekend when we were in Melbourne, and she grabbed herself some rolls and whatnot. But their bread is sweet, sort of like the rolls, not super sweet, but like when you get a Kentucky Fried Chicken roll, how they're sort of a little sweet, if you know what I mean. They're nice to eat. But yeah, I don't know. Oh, why are we talking about food? We're supposed to be talking about ghosts, not getting me hungry. I'll tell you what.
Into an early grave.
I can do a live stream from my grave when I die from eating all the Kentucky Fried Chicken and baked goods.
They haven't buried me yet because I was too big to fit in the coffin.
That's right. I saw some. Speaking of too big, what's his name? He's a YouTuber, Benny Johnson. Anyway, he's a YouTuber, but he did a short. He had a short. This a lady, a very big lady, who for whatever reason couldn't climb the stairs to get onto the flight, and there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 from my visual memory, 10 men carrying her, because she wouldn't, carrying her up the steps to get her on the plane. I would have said, you're not flying, love. You're too big.
Yeah, you're
if you can't walk up the steps, if you cannot walk up the steps, that sounds bad because disabled people can't. but they can generally fit into a wheelchair and be taken up the stairs quite easily. This lady didn't fit into a wheelchair. She was so big. That's why they were carrying her up. And I'm like, what seat would she even be sitting in? Like, she'd have to have a whole thing to herself right at the front. I guess she had money. She must have had to pay someone. I don't know. I don't know.
Seats. I don't know.
Yeah, but then who knows if I go to America and eat too much KFC and cake.
Get too much KFC and cake, you're going to be in trouble. You're not going to make it back.
That'd be right.
Go back on a boat.
That'd be right. But yeah, but Taylor's, I think I told everyone Taylor is now giving talks, working at the Gold Hill Hotel, which is in Gold Hill, just outside of Virginia City in Nevada. I think that's been going really well for her. But I saw someone else was giving a talk there, and I remember. Oh, this is probably a private conversation for you and I, Tanya, to know. Taylor, Tanya too, but Taylor, a private conversation to let you know who it was, and it was written anyway because I was actually reading it. But someone had gone to Virginia City to give a talk on a book that they had written. And had gone to Gold Hill to give a talk, gone to Silver, oh God, what's it called? Not the Silver Queen, Silver, the hotel there that's sort of modern, that's built out on, and done nothing but complain about, oh, they didn't advertise it enough. Oh, why was I there? Oh, why was I that? And I'm like, oh, I'm not even going to read the rest of your book because all you've done is whinge in the first part of it about how bad everything was. I'm like, go away then. Don't come back. Oh, dear. Yeah, it is the oldest hotel in Nevada. And there's, that's it. Thank you, Taylor. The Silverland. Yeah, I'll tell you later who it was. You probably know who I'm talking about anyway. But I just sort of thought, I don't know. I guess because I love Virginia. I really do. Everyone knows I love Virginia City so much. And I miss it on a daily basis. I miss it. That's how much I love Virginia City. If I came back to America and didn't go anywhere else, I guess I wouldn't care because I might be disappointed. But I still do want to see parts like the Sally House. I still want to go there and have a bit of a look around. Is the Silverland supposed to be haunted or the Gold Hill? I know the Gold Hill is supposed to be very haunted. I must get to, when I do come, Taylor, I will stay for a few days so I don't annoy you too much and the dogs, but I will stay for a few days in the Gold Hill Hotel in, what's the lady's name? Her room. Yeah, Gold Hill. The room, Taylor, the lady's name, the room that's supposed to be haunted. And then, of course, I'll make sure Putty Cat keeps me company. Why do I always want to call him Garfield? That's not his name. The cat. There's a ginger cat. There's a ginger Rosie's room. Yeah, there's a ginger cat at Gold Hill. Taylor, I feel really bad. What's his name again? I always say Garfield. He's not Garfield. He's got a different name. She'll tell me. William's room. Ooh, William's room. See, I could stay in a few of them. Hey, Ash, I could stay in a few of the rooms there, but I do want to because plus. If anyone is going to Virginia City anytime soon, Cloudy, that's it, Cloudy. Yeah. Oh, that must be where I got Garfield from, Taylor. That'll be where I got Garfield from. Yeah, but Cloudy the cat, he's a ginger cat. He kept me company there when I stayed in the miner's cabin. The only time I ever got a bit ickied out in the miner's cabin, I stayed there for 3 nights in the miner's cabin. I was never haunted. The only time I ever got creeped out, though, was Cloudy, the cat, came in to keep me company. And I fed him some beef jerky, some milk. You know, he was happy, happy, happy. I gave him cuddles and everything. Now, it could have been for 2 reasons, but I did shut the door while I was there, and I was giving him cuddles, and then he got down, he went, had some more milk, and he come back into the room where I was sitting on the bed, and he looked at the window that was next to me. So there was a window next to me, and he looked at the window, and he, like, you know how cats go crook and their heckles come up, their back, and he's like at the window, and I'm like, oh no, I'm really comfortable here, Cloudy, don't go doing that. Don't go looking at something I can't see and giving me the heebie-jeebies. And he did it again, and he wasn't happy, and he ran to the door, and I'm like, yep. And I opened the door and I let him run out, but I looked at the window too straight away, because I thought, it might not be a ghostie he was seeing. Could have been someone at the window, because people walk around there all the time taking photos, because the miners' cabin is said to be haunted. And so, but yeah, clearly that's the only time I was ever freaked out in the miners' cabin. And again, in the miners' cabin, because I was trying to sleep. It was a Saturday night, and I was trying to sleep, and there were people, and Taylor can probably back me up on this, people, and the owners know, people come and park up near the miners' cabin late, like early hours of the morning, and walk around looking for ghosts. And when you're staying in the miners' cabin and you're trying to sleep, and there's people walking around outside the cabin, you don't feel very safe, because you think, are they going to try the door to get in? You know, so it is what it is. But yeah, I'm sure Taylor gives talks about all of this stuff when she gives her talks, but also the Yellow Jacket, and because you're into mines, and so the Yellow Jacket mine fire, where a lot of men perished. It was one of the worst tragedies there, one of the biggest tragedies, and still, so that, and the story goes that some of the men that were brought up and escaped and were brought into the miners' cabin to be cared for with their injuries. So I'm pretty sure, though, over the years that miners' cabin has been added onto. Taylor might be able to confirm or tell me I'm wrong, but it's got, when you walk into the miners' cabin, it's sort of got 3 sections to it, if that makes sense. So I'm wondering if over time that's been built onto. But it's comfortable to stay in. There's 2 beds, 2 big beds, 2 bedrooms, a kitchenette. It's comfy. And it's right next to, when I was there, though, at the Gold Hill Hotel, the restaurant wasn't working for some reason. I can't remember why. So I never actually got to eat in there. But I did get to eat in there later on my second trip back. And their food is delicious. Just saying. Me talking about Virginia City. But yeah, as you saw, anyone who's just come in, you'll see my thumbnail said we're talking about graveyards, and what we've sort of already talked about graveyards. There's only so much you can say about a graveyard, really. What do you think? You know, so yeah. But hauntings, again, I don't know. I still can't work out why a graveyard / cemetery would be haunted, but by a ghost, unless, like I said before, someone's passed away, been murdered, like if there's a reason for them to be attached on a mental level, then I could imagine. Or the area just around would hold energy too. But I find, I don't know about you, Enzo, I don't know how many times you've visited a graveyard, but whenever I go to a cemetery or a graveyard, I really find it very relaxing. Like, it's quiet, and you can read all of the headstones and the names. Some headstones have a story on them, like we'll say, here lies so-and-so who died of such and such. A few of the headstones in Virginia City have got that. A lot of cemeteries, older cemeteries, not so much now new cemeteries. There's very little. Like it might just say someone's name and much loved, blah, blah. But I think that's because nowadays, when all these modern cemeteries, you're not allowed to have headstones. Like, unless you pay lots of money, I think there's particular areas where you can have, you know, whatever.
Plus today, we've got photographs and digital stuff of ways of remembering that person while they were alive, where prior to, 30 years ago,
Yeah, you didn't have
you
that.
didn't even have that much. I mean, you could actually even go back like 100 years ago where you didn't have much of anything. It was very rare for your average person to have a portrait
It-
done, or even,
Yep.
very, young version of photography or anything like that. So the only way you had to remember them is to go visit them at
and visit the grave.
yeah.
And you're right, but it just but now when you go to a modern cemetery, like my son is in a modern cemetery, and it's hard. It's hard to find where he is, because every time you go to visit, things have changed, like an extra tree or whatever. Whereas if he had a headstone, like I would have liked, I would have liked a headstone with something on it, like
Right.
you can kind of go, oh, over there, because there's the, the little cherub, or you can kind of pick them. But nowadays you look out and it's just all these flat markers, and it's like, ugh, it's not even pretty to be in there. Like, it's not even, doesn't even give you it doesn't feel the same as an old version of a cemetery or a graveyard, where I don't know, there's more, I don't know what the word is I'm looking for, more, it's just prettier to look at, and it's got more of an atmosphere.
Yeah, your traditional, like, upright headstone with usually something on it, even if it's just as small as just, beloved father, or whatever it is. It's something. And you get the occasional one that has like a little story on it, or a little saying, or
Yeah.
all those kind of things, versus today where it's just like the flat thing that's right on the ground that you can't even read what's on it unless you walk right on top of it, kind of a thing.
Yeah. Like, even when I was in California, and my friend Scott took me to the graveyard where Sharon Tate is buried, and I went to her grave, and it was just after Mother's Day. And I took her some flowers, and I put the flowers down, and and I looked at her grave, and it's a very sad grave because of the circumstances. But she too is in an area of that graveyard that's flat, like it's all flat squares. Even people like Bing Crosby and all of that, their area is little, like tiny little markers like that. And I'm like, oh. But then there's the one with where Marilyn Monroe is buried. Because she's in the mausoleum, she's in the wall. But there's some interesting places, like interesting gravestones and things there. Like, you've got ones that are big, like, obviously millionaires, and then you've got like Jack Lemmon is buried there, Walter Matthau. They've got big things. And then someone like Burt Lancaster, which I've said before, Burt Lancaster's got this tiny, like a thing on the ground, with hundreds of other ones, but he's not buried there. From what I can understand, it's just like a memorial to him. I can't remember what happened with him when he died. Marilyn Monroe's always got lipstick on it, and they have to change her stone all the time because it gets stained from people doing that. And that's creepy. I think everybody by now probably knows. I'll answer that in a second. That Marilyn Monroe so she's got underneath her is Playboy Mansion creep. What's his name? Oh, the one that the one that they had, the Playboy guy. I can't think of his name, but he's buried underneath her from memory, or is he on top? I think he's on top. Yeah. He purchased that, so I think he's on top. No. He's below. I think he's below. But above her is another fellow who was really, really rich and paid, and he is on top of her, facing down on her. It was a creepy thing. He was very
Hugh Hefner, right? Is that what we're talking
Hugh
about?
Hefner is, yeah, hang on. Oh, yeah. If you have a look.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, he paid for.
That's kind of gross.
Well, the other story's grosser. Hang on, where's the one? That's her there. Hang on, how can I bring this up? I'll show you what I mean, because I've been there, and oh, go away, foxhead blood. Go away. Is that it? Oh. I'm trying to find the picture to show you. That's the one. That's what I recognise. That'll do. Karen's getting so slow at being able to share things. That one. I don't know how far you can see. Hang on. I'll see what happens if I do that, if it comes up any bigger. All right. So that's Marilyn's grave, right?
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure, because I can't screen in, but I'm pretty sure this grave here, there's something creepy. It has to be this one on top. I think Hugh's down here, but I'm not sure. So someone else could probably Google that for me at the minute. Hang on. Hugh Hefner's resting place. Yeah, we'll do it together. Here we go. Oh, there. Oh, maybe that's him there then. Maybe he's next to her, because that's the picture. Playboy, big silent, blah, blah. Yeah, well, maybe that's where he is then. But the creepy story is the guy that I think he's underneath her. But then I've got it. There's the story of him being upside down, looking down at her. So I think it's this grave. I think it's this grave here. The guy that's buried there was purposefully put in his coffin up so that in his death he is looking down on Marilyn, like he's on top of her. What? Yeah. This is where I wish me mate I could just send him a message. How much of a creep
do you have to be in life that you would then do that in your death?
I don't know.
You're going to be eternally known as a creep.
Yeah.
Gross.
Well, I don't know the actual reasoning behind that, Christian, but it's called a headstone, not a footstone. So I would assume that's why they put the headstone at where your body lies. And back in the day too, when people were buried, there would be you just walked up to the side or at the foot of the grave. It's like a ceremonial. It's just how you do things. It's just the way it was, and it still is, I guess.
I totally get what Christian is saying, though.
I know what he's saying.
Especially today, those smaller ones where you have to like get right up on them and look straight down on it. Like I have to stand on your head.
You have to stand
to read
on
what you have.
Yeah,
that's kind of disturbing. So
yeah. Well, even the same, but when I go to visit my son's grave, I know exactly. It's the same thing. If I sit in front of his gravestone, I'm sitting on top of where his body is. Granted, it's it was a long way down. Actually, I remember that day. It's more than 6 feet down, because I think at some point someone else is going to be put on top of him. I don't know. That was disturbing that day. As a mother, and seeing his coffin sitting on the thing that it's like a contraption that they put it on, and then that's what lowers the coffin into the ground. The minute someone jerked it, someone did something before it went down, and it just made me. It was horrible. It's horrible,
right?
And I didn't like watching it go in the ground either. It's the most horrible thing. I don't know. I don't like funerals, and I don't like the idea of someone's body rotting in the ground. I know that's weird. I just don't, because you know that it's just going to rot. It's just, I don't know. That's why I think cremation, like, clean, gone, and you can keep a little bit of it with you if you want to. I would have, but there you go. Oh, how do we get on to that? Karen's counselling hour. Oh gosh, that's right. It's your fault, Christian. Yeah. Well, yeah, I know, but his idea, that dude, whoever it was, his idea. I'll see if I can Google the quick. It was that he would be forever looking down upon Marilyn Monroe's body. Who got buried above? There.
I'm surprised that, I mean, I get that it's a mausoleum and you just basically you get your file drawer type selection there, but that just seems weird because you could get something like this where someone wants to be pervy in life and death to position themselves around your little filing cabinet.
I would have said he obviously donated a lot of money because it's not cheap to be buried there. The person buried directly above Marilyn Monroe is Pierce Brothers. Westwood Village Memorial Park is the person buried directly above Marilyn Monroe at Pierce Brothers Westwood Village Memorial Park is Richard Poncher. I'm going to see who he is in a minute. He was buried face down at his request so he could look at Marilyn Monroe for eternity. His wife later sold the crypt above Marilyn Monroe's, but he remains buried there, though now face up after being flipped. That's weird. Oh, dear. So that'll serve him for being a creep. Let's see if I can find a picture of the creep. Images. Nah. I can't find it. He must have been a nobody, so to speak, but money. Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier, Tanya. Yeah, it is a waste of money, and unfortunately, a lot of funeral homes, a lot of them, you're already grieving, you're already not functioning, you're really not, and a lot of them guilt trip you into paying extra for handles or the kind of coffin, or and back in the day, I don't think it happens anymore, but back in the day there were people actually got in a lot of trouble because they would sell the family a very expensive coffin for a cremation and take the body out of the coffin, resell it somewhere else, but obviously the family thinks that the coffin was cremated with the deceased family member. So, or even going to the extent of where the family didn't witness the burial, because a lot of people can't do that. I know I didn't want to go and witness my son's, but I ended up going. A lot of people can't do that. They have the ceremony in a chapel, and then later on the funeral home would attend to the actual burial. Again, just taking the handles off before cremation, because the handles are expensive and they can resell them, things like that. And that's just crap. Or that, I'm sure, the way they word it, so they play on your emotions and make you spend money that, in all honesty, your loved one is gone. They're gone. A beautiful cardboard box would be enough, honestly, or a plywood, honestly, because if they're going into the ground, just a cheap pine box that will eventually go back into the ground anyway, along with their body.
No one's going to see it ever.
No one's ever going to see it again, but a lot of people spend a fortune on it. Like even my son's funeral, his father paid for it, was nearly $15,000. Like, God, a cremation these days, even to get, that's Australian dollars, a cremation these days, just to even get your body cremated, is $3,000 and upwards. Like, that's just ridiculous. But anyway,
my joke used to be, my joke used to be, I don't have any tattoos, which is true. The only one I've ever considered is like maybe instructions of you can keep what's in my wallet if you just throw the body in the dumpster, whatever the nearest dumpster is. Get me off the street. Yeah. Other than that, I don't care. I'm dead. I don't care what happens to my body. I'll be dead.
Yeah, it's more along I think it's more along the lines too of how you get found. Like I always think, if I die in my sleep, then I'm already in bed, covered up by rugs and whatever. But if I die from a heart attack, what if I'm on like poor old Elvis?
Yeah, if you're on the toilet. Yeah.
You know, oh my Lord. Or, you know, walking naked back from the shower to the bedroom and you have a heart attack and then your kids find you. Like, it's more like, how am I going to be found?
Slip and fall in the shower, bash your head in, and
you know, that's it. Like, how am I going to be found? That's more my concern. I don't want to be found in an embarrassing situation. But then again, I'm dead, but it's more embarrassing for the people who find me. Do you know what I mean? Like, yes, my idea of the perfect death is either sitting in a armchair reading a book and off I go, or in bed, I'm asleep. That's it.
My other joke about dying is that my smartwatch, when it detects no heartbeat for a period of time, auto deletes my search history and my internet browser. So,
oh, good.
Nobody needs to know what I've been looking at. So.
All they'd see on mine would be, they'd probably think, this woman's really weird. Serial killer videos, murder mysteries, you know, all that'd be the extent of mine, thank goodness. But they just go, oh, she weird. How many bodies disappeared while she was living? Is she a serial killer? But yeah, I don't know. I was watching something actually the other day on serial killers and how they go about catching them. And I'm still fascinated. I think a lot of people are fascinated with what makes those sorts of people tick, but I just don't think we'll ever know what makes a serial killer tick, because they look completely normal, really. Most of them are. But yeah, what's that, Banshee? Dad's bank won't let him sell his home after 2 years after he dies.
There is something weird about that, because I have the same thing. My father passed away like a couple years ago and still trying to sell his house. I don't get it. I don't understand what the big problem is or why it's a big deal, but because it's simply just a matter of putting it on the market, and because, you know, all the kids have, you know, it's an empty house. It's clean. It's, you know, people have done tours of it. What's the big deal? But for some reason they drag their feet about selling it.
Would it be perhaps he doesn't fully own it? Does he still have a mortgage? If because obviously if the bank says he can't sell it, he must have a mortgage. So there must be something tied up with that. If you fully own something, I can't see how they can stop anyone from selling it. But if it's still under some kind of contract or whatever, then I can understand, because it doesn't belong to your dad, it belongs to the bank. That's like me. I've got a house, but
there's more to the story there that they're putting up.
He wants me to live there for 2 years to clear it out. Well, hang on. So he wants you to live there for 2 years, though. But what? So doesn't that fit in
the next line? So
yeah. Then I don't get it. I don't understand that. When my uncle died, it was immediate. It was a fully paid for house, and straight onto the market. So maybe that's why, Banshee, maybe he put something in his will about wanting you to live, because you've just said he wants you to live there for 2 years. So it might be in his will, in which case there's protections for that. So that's probably what it is. I don't know. Do you know why you're not allowed to sell your dad's one, Enzo?
Honestly, my oldest sister is handling all that stuff, so I don't know all the details, but I know she's still struggling with it. It seems like about every 6 to 8 months, I have to send in paperwork to whoever the lawyer is that's covering it for the insurance agency or whatever. I don't know.
There's a lot of people.
Yes, as a living member of his family, I approve of him them selling the house on the open market.
Oh, well, that'd be what it is, because that's got to do with his will, because it's obviously bits and pieces will be split between the siblings and whatever. So in Banshee's case, at a guess, if the house is paid for, still doesn't have anything to do with the bank, which is a bit odd.
Actually, that actually may be it. Do you have brothers and sisters? Because
she does. Yeah, it says they're split with brother and sister. So I can't imagine what it's got to do with the bank. If it's completely paid for, it'll be to do with his will. And there she's saying he said that he wants her to live in it. And it is in his will. He's not dead yet, but this batch says he can't. This bank says he can't. I don't know, Ben. That sounds like a legal thing. I don't know what the bank's got to do with it. So there must be something else there that's legal, or in some way he might have, maybe it is paid for. So you think maybe it's not, because the only way a bank can hold on to a house is if you're still owing money on it. He might have reverse mortgaged. He might have borrowed a little bit on the house. And so they've still got a slight claim to it.
If it's paid off, then what's the bank got to do with it at all?
Yeah, the bank's got nothing to do with it. So it'll be a legal thing. He may well have, because there's nowadays when you get older here, I'm assuming in America you can do the same thing. If you've already paid for your house, and you can reverse mortgage, so you can get a loan, a personal loan on what your house is worth. So therefore, the house is collateral for that personal loan. So maybe he's still got something like it. I don't know then, Banshee. Don't know. But it sounds like it has to be a legal reason tied up with his will and his wishes. So who knows? And not everybody knows what their parents get up to. So you may think the answer is no, but you don't know. There could be all sorts of hidden reasons. It's a mystery. It's a mystery. But there you go. And what time is it there, Enzo?
It is 7:34 p.m. Saturday in Central Time Zone.
In Kansas.
Kansas.
With that, I was going to ask you, I don't want to talk too much about the tragedy, because it is very tragic, the flood that Texas had just recently, 4th of July weekend, wasn't it? But I saw the fellow who owns the company that plays around with the weather. They can make it rain. And they made it rain that weekend in that area.
They did.
Surely. No way, not that much rain. I haven't watched his full interview, but I know he was questioned, the guy who owns the place. He's got a terrible mullet. Have you seen him, the guy that owns it? He's got short hair in front. Yeah.
It's Texas, boys. Yeah. It's the thing is with weather modification, stuff like that goes on all the time, all over the world. And we don't hear about it. It's only like now where somebody like does the conspiracy chart thing on the wall with the yarn and all that stuff. It's like, wait a minute, they were using weather modification just right over there. No, then it would have been, if that was the case, it would happen almost every single day, everywhere in the world, because there's that kind of technology has been around for a long time, since like the 50s and 60s, to do a little cloud seeding, to, got some clouds that are right on the verge of, where they can, the conditions have to be right. It's not like you can just send a plane up and cause it to start raining in some place where it's drought. It's there have to be stuff where it's really close. It's the dew points aren't quite lining up just right. Where they can add just a little bit of particulate matter into the clouds, which causes the water vapor that's in the clouds to condense onto those little particulates that they put in there, and then causes it to, fall out of the cloud as rain. As far as, this isn't some kind of, Cobra Commander from GI Joe, weather control device, kind of a thing where they're pulling levers and causing thunderstorms and floods and stuff like that.
Yeah,
It's nothing.
because and I think that was the gist of what he was trying to say. It's a terrible coincidence that they were there that weekend doing it. But yeah, like he was saying, they do that in a lot of different places. And I know that's been a thing. I know that people have been doing that. And I think it's a good thing if it can bring rain, if they can somehow bring rain to drought-stricken areas by doing that. But then again, if you're drought-stricken, there might not be any cloud particulates to attach to, because that's the thing.
Right, exactly.
Usually you look out and there's a clear sky, there's nothing. But
we
yeah,
talked about insurance companies earlier. A thing that insurance companies do when you're buying a piece of property is they have to plot out if you're close to like a creek or a river or a lake or anything, like any kind of body of water that runs through your property. They have charts laid out for a 50-year flood, a 100-year flood, even a 500, 200-year flood, 500, it can go for a range because we have the historical data for a lot of that. Not as much, of course, in the United States because we're only like 249 years old. But for other parts of the world where they've got, many hundreds, if not thousands of years of research of how the environment reacts, where you get those 1,000-year type floods, those things are all factored in for at certain levels. And for Texas, this is one of those times where you get that really giant ass flood, and just circumstances are just perfect to where everything aligns. Admittedly, like this year for me, we're like up here in Kansas, normally we would have been well above 100 degrees Fahrenheit for weeks by now. We haven't even come close to it this year, and we've gotten a ton of rain that we normally don't get.
Yeah, I saw that. I was watching every now and then I see the news report, the weather, and it talks about Kansas, and I go, or if I see tornado warnings, yeah. But that's the thing. I did see that, and it was absolutely horrendous for all those kids. I just
horrific. Yeah.
Just
literally washed out of their beds while they were sleeping. It's just horrifying.
Absolutely. And I saw the news report that said the amount of water that came through was equivalent to what goes over the Niagara Falls in a 24-hour period. I'm like, what? That's a lot of water. And I've been to Niagara Falls, so I can speak from experience. Like, that's a lot of water.
Yeah.
And that's it.
And it's also the contours of land, like much like how like Kansas, Oklahoma, not all of Oklahoma, but that part of Texas is very flat. So when you get a little bit of water, it's got nowhere else to go. So it goes up. Yeah. It's just
horrible. I mean, we have things like that happen here. We've lost lots of people in Australia during floods, and it's usually those flash like up really, really quick, where people are sitting on their rooftops, and so it happens. The risks you take living near, say, a river, but then you still never expect that. You just never expect that.
Yep.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. Pretty bad. But yeah, I also they were talking about where everyone used to say planes were doing the chemtrail thing. I'm still not sure what I think about chemtrails. I don't think that's real. I mean, they're saying, I'm not saying that they don't send planes up sometimes to maybe drop chemicals or whatever, but a lot of crazy people go, oh, it's every plane that goes up. All of the commercial
believe me, I know. Because when I was in the Air Force, one of the planes that they always blame was the plane that I used to work on, KC-135. That's a plane that refuels other planes in the air. And because they would say that instead of putting fuel in there, it was filling it full of mind-controlling joker gas stuff or whatever it is that they say. where people are like, I taste metal in my mouth when that plane went over. They must be trying to control my mind. No, you're just a crazy person. But there are people out there like that, and not. But to be fair, there have been a lot of experiments of putting things into the atmosphere to
absolutely,
to prevent global warming. As a matter of fact, where they would put highly reflective particles of various things, from aluminum to mercury to a bunch of other things, to try and see, as experiments, to see, okay, if we coat this whole area, will that reflect some of the heat instead of the earth getting hotter? Newsflash, the earth has been getting warmer progressively for the last 12,000 years since we came out of the ice age.
Yeah.
Sorry. But that's the truth.
And then I was watching something the other day, or maybe it was Joe, where they had the graph up talking about that in fact we're actually heading into another ice age. So we're effectively heading in that direction, as opposed to overheating and we can't live here anymore.
From like 12,000 years ago when we came out of the last ice age to today, we're pretty much at about that tipping point where where things are going to gradually start getting colder and going back into an ice age in 12,000.
Yeah.
So as a matter of fact, if you remember the old Leonard Nimoy In Search Of show back in the 70s, they ran one of their shows was specifically about the coming ice age in 20 years in the far in the future of 1990. We're going to be buried in snow and ice and all that. Well, no, that's not
what was that movie where it happens? I'm trying to think of the actors that were in it. Jake Gyllenhaal is in it.
Day After Tomorrow?
The Day After Tomorrow, is it? I think so. Yeah, I think that's that game.
The helicopters, the fuel was freezing in the lines of the helicopters. They were just falling out of the air.
And I'm like, but fuel can't freeze, can it? Petrol?
Well, sure. Everything can freeze if it gets cold enough.
If it gets cold
that's
enough,
pretty extreme. To happen that, where it's going to fall.
I remember being there in the November and going outside to help feed the horses and stuff like that at Connie's house. And someone who's not used to that kind of cold weather where it snows, and it had been snowing. And Taylor, if you're listening, you'll grin. All the taps had socks on them, like the faucets had socks on the outside.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, oh, surely that doesn't really do anything, but it does, because I left the sock off of one, and I'm like, oh no. And it was like, I thought, who'd have thought? Or flushing the toilet, you could hear that, like, I'm like, oh, like, I don't know. That'd be the only thing about living in Virginia City that I'd think, I don't know how I'm going to do the winter thing, like with taps and needing water. Like, how do you do that? So imagine what it must have been like back in the days when they didn't have taps and all
actually,
the water. Like,
for places like that where it would get really cold like that, that was one of the arguments not to have indoor plumbing, because it would be like an afterthought. It would like all your water pipes would be under the house, like in the crawl space underneath of the house on the ground.
You have to keep
it's
it warm.
exposed. So you don't want that crazy indoor plumbing that's going to freeze and explode everywhere and flood your home. Just stay with your outhouse and your washcloth with a bucket from the pump outside.
Well, the funny thing is too, though, even the horses' water, like, so every morning get the horses their thing, but overnight their water had frozen. And when I say frozen, like, an inch and a half, an inch and a half of frozen water, and you had to break it. Connie had not an axe, I don't know what you call it, like not a hammer
kind of thing.
Sort of a thing, and you'd break the ice and then go turn the hose on and fill it up that little bit more. But you had to check throughout the day because it just froze. I'm like, the poor horses. But the horses get really woolly, like they get I mean, I guess so, but I just kept thinking,
Like a
oh,
winter coat kind of thing. Yeah.
I'd be, yeah, if it were me, if I were to have horses in that weather, there would be a stable built right on the house and they would have a heater, and they'd be, come on, inside, time for bed.
Even like, like you say, putting a sock on the stuff. A lot of these things are literally just a couple of degrees, whether you want to go Fahrenheit or Celsius, doesn't matter, between freezing and not freezing. Or, like where I live, tornadoes are a thing. Tornadoes generally don't hit like large metropolitan areas in the Midwest because they hold in a lot of heat from all the buildings and the blacktop roads and stuff like that hold in a lot of heat. If you've got this, twister that's traveled for 30 miles of regular countryside and it gets to where the city limits are, that 1 degree difference of warmth that's in the city causes that to fall apart because everything has to be perfect, that the perfect storm kind of a thing for those things to actually be a thing, for them to actually exist. Everything has to fall in perfectly. If it gets disrupted at all, it all falls apart.
But yeah, it's just really very interesting. So like, I watch a lot of different things and theories about how back in the day, the big floods and all that sort of stuff. And you can go down rabbit holes, but yeah, it is interesting that they say that, no, we're not heading, like, we're not going to cook. It's going to head back into the ice age again, which makes sense. And when they showed you the graph of how it works, it's continually,
Yep.
so it's a thing. It'd be interesting to see. I watched a very smart man the other day talking about what Elon's doing with his whole business with the robots and stuff and the Mars thing. And he was saying, so you might be thinking, oh, this is a bit crazy. Why doesn't Elon just concentrate on the Mars thing? Why is he worrying about the robots and the Tesla cars and so on and so forth? And then he said, that's because when you go to Mars, sure, you're going to probably send a few humans up there, but you're going to need a workforce when you're up there. And then you're going to need something to get around on when you're up there. And then he said, and he was putting it all together, and I went, oh.
They're stepping stones.
It's all, so every single business that Elon Musk has got is absolutely around the Mars thing. So the robots aren't really for us. The robots are he'll send them all up, and that is what will build what he needs built for the humans.
Yep. If you send a bunch of robots up and like whatever ship takes them there has like a big solar array on it where they can recharge during the day and then they work at night or whatever, where you've programmed it to where they can go and dig up sand or dirt or whatever to make like something like concrete, and they can have, solar stills and stuff like, because there's a tiny little bit of moisture in the atmosphere of Mars itself. Think like, running a dehumidifier in your house where you're going to use that water that you're pulling out of the atmosphere to
plant vegetables
to grow
potatoes.
You're going to grow those potatoes. You're going to go unseal the poop from the last astronaut and all that. Grow some potatoes. For The Martian, I love The Martian. That is a great movie until the very, very end. And I'm going to cut it. No, that was stupid. That whole part was stupid. Everything else was awesome. That part, it got done. But anyways, but as far as Elon's plan, yeah, sure. You send some robots up to, you don't have to worry about shipping food and water and medical supplies and everything else to put people up there to do the same thing. You just send some robots up where they can build, the Adobe structures, basically is what it is.
Yeah.
where they would make, and for people to live in. And once that's all constructed, then they can say, okay, humans, we got a place for you to live in and work out of, so you can come and check it out.
And you've still got your robots up there that can go out and do stuff and not need to worry about the temperature or the atmosphere. Yep. So I just thought, because I'd never put it together myself that way until I heard that man explaining, and I went, so at some point, Elon, he truly is a genius. He's a genius. He's,
and of course, people would buy, I'm sure, whoever your favorite big time YouTuber will buy one of those robots when they're commercially available to, bring them their KFC bowl delivered right to their room and let them eat that, and spoon feed it to them, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, like there'll be reasons that people will buy them, but now I see why he was doing it. And the same with the AI development, the AI program. So he really truly is a genius. He's not even thinking about here. He's thinking about there. That's been his whole thing from the beginning. It's not about making it better.
If you send a dozen of these robots off to Mars they're already pre-programmed with, okay, my job is to collect stuff to build this little city, this little walled-in city made out of concrete, out of water that we're going to collect out of the atmosphere, or even out of, because there is a North and South Pole on Mars that does have water on it. It's actually even has like frozen carbon dioxide as well.
Yeah, and the more I think about it, the more I think, wow, I wish he'd settle down a little bit now. Hopefully he will. But anyway, that's I'm putting that over there because that's all just doing my head in. It's all doing my head in.
There's a lot of people that they should have, especially people like that they should hire someone just to slap the phone out of their hand when they see a Twitter come up. Like, just get off. Shut up.
Yeah. I'll try and find his phone number, and I'll ring him up and put a bit of common sense back into him and say, don't worry about it. Just continue on worrying about Mars. You did your job. You did a good thing. That's it. Concentrate. Concentrate. But he's so rich now that I guess in some regards for him it's like, he's just, at the moment, I think he's just got his back up, which he should have. He's upset. He's annoyed. He's got his back up. And he's just got to get it out of his system, and we'll see what happens. At the moment, it's probably just whatever it is.
Wouldn't want to go to Mars, Nancy? I'd love to go to Mars.
Yeah, I'd go to Mars, but only if I could come back. Maybe not.
And that's right now, like today, he has a list. It's actually been out for years of volunteers to go to Mars, but it's a one-way trip. You're not coming back.
Mind you, I suppose if say I got a death, like went to the doctors and they said, Karen, you got cancer and you're going to be dead within, how long does it take to get to Mars though? I've forgotten. It's a journey, isn't it?
Depends on it's going to take you several months at the best.
Then I probably wouldn't get there then. But if I had a diagnosis
like cancer or something like that, they're not going to send you anyway, because they're like, hey, I'm spending billions to send your ass to Mars to work, and I'm only going to get 6 months out of you by the time you get there. No,
they can use me for compost. They can use me for compost, blood and bone. Everyone puts that on their garden. Well, not everyone, but I don't know. But I think, if I were younger, didn't have children, absolutely, I would consider it. Like if you're at that stage, absolutely. Isn't it? I had watched a little bit of, I don't know if you've seen any of it in the news. I tend to listen for 5 minutes and turn away. But his trial and the fact that he got convicted on a couple of counts, but not the bad ones. And I'm like, well, he's been judged in a court of law. And certainly the disgusting, icky things that he did are not illegal. That's just foul and disgusting.
Yeah,
And I'm like,
obviously the really gross stuff that we've heard about, they weren't able to prove. So
yes, yeah, yeah, yeah.
it doesn't
Oh,
mean
hey,
that
Laura.
he's not, he's just not guilty. He's just
Yeah. So he's not guilty. So I'm assuming at some point, much like, because people tend to forget things, and we all make mistakes when we're younger. But this guy, he'll get out. I don't know when, but he'll get out, and he's still rich. He's still got money hidden somewhere. He's still got friends with money. He's still got people that are scared of him with money. So he'll go on and he'll live his life, and people will forget. Every now and then it'll come up, like one of my favourite all-time boxers, but was convicted of the R word. He was, and he did it. People forget. Like, people forget about that. And it's interesting. Or people, what's that other singer's name that beat up his girlfriend? Chris, whatever his name is. Like, people forget. And they've got money, so they can walk. They just hide for a little while. They get a good PR team behind them, and people forget. Or you don't. I don't forget.
People forget, and people also love a redemption arc where, okay, they've served their time in jail, and when they get out and they turn their life around and they're doing good things, and people like them all of a sudden, all the past is forgotten, no matter how horrific it is sometimes. But it's just it is a matter of time where if you let things where they just disappear for a long period of time.
Oh, thank you, Laura. I hope he look. He's not going to stay in for life because they didn't get him on the things that they wanted to get him on. But look, he's got so much money, and so who knows? I'm over it. No, not Chris. It wasn't Chris Rock. It was Chris Brown. Brown, that was his name. No, Chris Rock hasn't done anything wrong. He's all right. He just got punched by Will Smith. That was. That's the other person, isn't it funny? I used to love Will Smith, but his cray-cray wife and everything that went on that night when he hit Chris Rock and everything after, it's like, oh, I can't look at him anymore. It's kind of like, oh, it's like anything, or certain actors that come out and try and push things down our throat. Can't watch their shows anymore. I can't watch their movies anymore because all I see is their cray-cray stuff.
It does affect, last week here in the US, of course, Independence Day, they run the Independence Day, alien movie, 24/7 on some channels and stuff over here. It's kind of tough to watch that now.
But back then it was so good, and it was a very the speech at the end there that he does was a brilliant
speech.
Welcome
to Earth.
Yeah. But that was a really good movie, and there's sometimes
Bill Pullman's president speech about Independence Day that's still freaking great.
It's still a good speech. Oh, I don't know if he can't stand his wife. I don't know. Shit, they're weird. They're just weird. They're just weird,
and that's Hollywood though. They're these weird
Hollywood,
almost kind of strange things that they do, and being strange and weird. There's something about when you get super famous and a lot of money, regular, wow, she's a pretty girl. I'm gonna go ask, convince her to come back home with me. No, you got to start adding like stupid stuff on top of it because. You can do the getting the pretty person, whether it be a boy or a girl, easy. That's normie stuff. You need to start adding like layers of crazy on top of it to make it unique, to make it a unique experience. It's really strange. Our psychology, our is in humanities psychology when you when you get what you really crave and what you really want,
Yeah, careful what
always
you wish
want a
for,
little more.
basically.
You always want
Like,
a little something else, and you pat on
yeah,
top of it, where it's just, and then the regular person sees something like that that's so out of reach. It's like, that's freaking crazy. What the hell are you doing with all this weirdness? And you shaved your head, and you're calling me ugly, and all these weird things, which for them, their perspective, that's their normal. It's super weird. It's the class system of monies and social
well,
positions.
and it makes me
So
laugh
weird.
a bit too. Like, you've got your Oprah Winfreys, you've got Cher, you've got all these really, really rich millionaire, billionaire people that may have come in the early days from poor family, like absolutely were not always rich, but they are now, and they've been rich for a very long time, and their memories of being poor are just that, memories. They don't have to worry now. If they're hungry and they don't want to even move, they can pick up a phone and say, hey, go to the store and get me blah. Or
Right.
oh gee, it's hot
It's
here.
3
That's it.
a.m. I want one of those KFC bowls.
Yeah,
I don't care what you have
KFC
to do.
bucket.
Wake somebody up and make them go into the KFC plant and make
Yep.
it and just bring it in. I don't care.
Yep.
Yeah,
And that's the thing, they've forgotten, and then they've got the cheek and the audacity to come out and tell people how they should think. Oh, that's going to ruin this, it's going to ruin that, it's going to ruin this. What the F do you care, rich person? What the hell do you even, what are you even talking about? Are you stupid? Right. Like they're worried about how it's going to affect their rich pockets. They're not worried about how it's going to affect us poor people.
Sorry, I don't have 3 homes in 3 different continents and billions to piss away on shoes and watches or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm living paycheck to paycheck, trying to save up my pennies to get a new car that won't break down, kind of a thing, so I can still go to work and pay my taxes, that kind of thing. You're trying to tell me how to live when you're doing just cult stuff.
Yeah, I know, and it drives you crazy. So then when you do see them in a movie or whatever, it's kind of like, I just wanted to show you something too. But it's kind of like, just shut up, because you don't even know what you're talking about. The show, like, they don't, and it gets me upset, because then I see him in shows and I'm like, oh, you're just a cockhead. Do you know what I mean? It's just and that's how you feel. I just wanted to show you something. You remember the movie Jaws, obviously. I only watched it the other day.
My favorite movie ever.
Yeah. I love the first one. I love it. Then you're going to like this. I don't know if you can get to Broadway.
Went to the theaters as a little kid to see that. I don't know why they let me in at that age, but whatever year that was that came out, I was only like 9 or 10. They shouldn't have let me in, but it was great.
I just want to.
That's a 4th of July movie. Those beaches will be open on the 4th of July. Kind of it is one of those kind of movies, a summertime movie. And I watch it every year. I've got the 50th anniversary, all of that stuff.
Well, then
I still jump like a little kid when I was 9 or 10 years old, however old I was when I saw it, when that guy's head rolls into view through the hole in the boat.
Oh yeah, that I jumped. Actually, you know what? I watched it. I haven't watched it in years, and I watched it the other day with Emily, because she's never seen it, and that part come up, and I knew it did. Like I knew, because I've seen it a few times, and that's not it. Jaws. I'm just looking for something to show you. And yeah, I knew that part came up, but I jumped. I went, I just jumped.
I've seen it times, and I jump at that part every goddamn time.
I just want to show you this, because I don't know if you've seen what I'm about to show you, but I'm just going to show this for people who haven't seen Jaws.
This
for a
is
while.
the Indianapolis speech. Oh, I didn't even see it at the yeah. It is this is
It's
great.
the
This is the best
Indianapolis,
movie.
but the actor Shaw, right? Alan.
Robert Shaw.
Robert Shaw. Oh, that's right. That's why I'm confused because he's. But anyway, I'm just gonna. I think. Wait on, is the sound up? No. I won't play much. I always get bloody, what do you call it?
Yeah.
Yeah. But this is the bit.
These submarines slammed 2 torpedoes into our side, Chief. He was coming back from the island of Tinian to Leyte, just delivered the bomb, the Hiroshima bomb. 1,100 men went into the water. Vessel went down in 12 minutes. Didn't see the first shark for about half an hour. Tiger, 13-footer. You know that when you...
All right. That's what I'll show you there, right? Anyone who hasn't watched Jaws for a while, you need to go back and watch it. But hang on, turn this up.
As I understand it, they were actually drinking during this, and he just kind of just did it. Huh? Are you watching something?
That is. Hang on, where is he? Hang on. That is Robert Shaw's son.
We didn't see whatever it is that you just played. We still have it was a tiger shark, 13-footer. You know how you tell that when you're in the water? It's
Yeah.
the distance between the dorsal and the tail.
He looks the spitting image of his father, doesn't he? That's his son.
We didn't see whatever it is that you just played. We still have the
What?
original Jaws stuff up.
Oh, why didn't you tell me? Hang on. Hang on a second then. Wait a minute. All right. Wait a minute. You got to yell at me sometimes.
I did
Look.
yell at you.
Oh, did you? And I was not paying attention. Yeah,
See?
share. Yeah, right.
Look at that. Oh my God, he looks just like him.
Right. Now, yeah. So listen to this a bit again.
The USS Indianapolis, June the 29th, 1945. 2 torpedoes from a Japanese submarine slammed into our side. It was coming back across the Pacific from Tinian to Leyte. Damn near 1,100 men went over the side. Lifeboats was lashed down so tight for the bomb run we couldn't cut a single one adrift. There was no rafts. None.
Oh, for God's sake, I can't say this. It's duller than my tax return. Top billing.
Oh my God, you screwed us. Your name's higher and in the middle.
Bingo! Saints be praised! You're like a truffle, big boy!
Boy, you are such a bad loser.
How many kids do you have?
9 so far.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
What do you think it's about? What? This goddamn movie.
It's about a shark. Do you really think they're going to be talking about this in 40 years?
I so want to see that play.
That looks great.
So it's on, I think at the moment it's on in America, Broadway, I think. But I also know that it's been on in England. I don't know if he's going to bring it here, but if he brings it here, he has to be the one in that role because he just looks like his dad. He's like, it's a mental. It's absolutely mental, but it looks really good. I thought you'd enjoy that. I don't know how I
That's
screwed
very
it up.
funny. I was not aware that was a thing. That's very funny.
No, I only found it the other day because for whatever reason, you know what YouTube and Google's like, I watched Jaws, so all of a sudden on my YouTube feed is Jaws, and then that come up, that very clip I showed you came up, the shark is broken. And I thought, oh, it must be a thing on the shark, Bruce, who always broke, right? And I hit play and I could hear him talking, and I thought, oh, what have they done here? And then I see it come up to him and he's talking, and I'm like, oh, yeah. And then he says, oh, this is crap. And I'm like, what? What? And then I had to figure it out. I thought, oh, my God, that's not Robert. That's his son. I'm like, wow. I mean, obviously.
It's one of the best scenes ever in any movie out of all times. It's great.
Well, that story about the Indianapolis.
It's
a true story.
100%.
Absolutely true.
History Channel does a bunch of stuff. Normally they rerun like this time of year when the movie comes back, but where they interviewed, this was many years ago while the folks were still alive, where the boat things where they would land in the water, I forget what they were called, but where spotted survivors from the Indianapolis floating in the water, they landed and they're like, we can't carry all of you, so we're gonna have to come back. You're gonna just have to sit here and wait hours for us to go to this nearest island, drop people off, and hours, get gas and come back. So they like passed off like just a small container of fresh water for them to drink, because they're all grouped together like linked arms with their life jackets on, forming little islands. And because sharks did come up, and they'd all kick and scream and all that stuff to try and scare them away. And there was a guy during the interview process that was one of the actual pilots, and he's like, I couldn't believe the integrity of these people that were stuck in the water, that I would have to leave, that I didn't even know if they'd still be there when I came back. We would like give them this container of water with like just a little, ladle kind of a thing, where they would just get a sip of fresh water and then pass it on to the next person. Nobody took more than what they were supposed to. Just their little bit. It's like, oh my God, people were so much better back then.
Yeah, I'm reading the thing now. It says the USS Indianapolis was a Portland-class heavy cruiser of the United States Navy, named for the city Indianapolis. Launched in 1931, she was the flagship of the commander of the Scouting Force 1 for 8 years. Then flagship for the Admiral Raymond Spronce from 43 to 45, while he commanded the 5th Fleet. Oh, blah. Blah, marbles in my mouth today. In July 1945, she completed a top-secret high-speed trip to deliver uranium and other components for Little Boy, the first nuclear weapon used in combat, to the Tinian Naval Base, and subsequently departed for the Philippines on training duty. At 12:15 on the 30th of July, the ship was torpedoed by the Imperial Japanese Navy submarine and sank in 12 minutes. Of 1,195 crewmen aboard, about 300 went down with the ship. The remaining 890 faced exposure, dehydration, saltwater poisoning, and shark attacks while stranded in the open ocean, with few lifeboats and almost no food or water. The Navy learned of the sinking 4 days later, when survivors were spotted by the crew of the Ventura on routine patrol. The crew landed to save those in the water. Only 316 survived. No US warship sunk at sea has lost more sailors than that particular ship. 316.
Yeah, because it was a secret mission, kind of a thing. They couldn't radio for help or distress call, because that would be like, what the hell is this big ass ship doing out here? It had already dropped off the components to assemble the first nuclear weapon ever, and it was coming back trying to make its way back to the Philippines, for that. So they couldn't do anything. It was like if we get into trouble, we're on our own. They were, and they paid for it big time.
Yeah. There is a movie with Nicky Cage in it. I've never watched it. I remember watching an old black and white one. I'm sure there's an old black and white one because I remember the story. I remember them trying and screaming and kicking with the sharks. So I know there's an old movie out there somewhere about the story, but Nicolas Cage did make one about it as well.
Yeah.
But I can think, imagine that. And when you watch the movie Jaws though, and he does that whole speech thing, that's the other thing. His son tells the story about that whole speech that he tells in the movie Jaws was pages and pages long. Someone had written almost a bloody book, and he read through it. He said, I can't say all this, much like that little clip you just saw where he says, this is like boring. So another writer took it and concised it down even further, but then Robert Shaw read it, and the final thing that you see there was his interpretation of it all. So he wrote that part in turn with the others. But, I remember hearing that story the very first time I ever saw that movie, and I was only a kid, and being like, ooh, creeped out, And it's
absolutely true, every word of it.
Yeah, and it's interesting. His son, Alan, said, because someone interviewed him and said, as a kid seeing the movie, he goes, well, I didn't see it as a kid. I was only a toddler. He said, but I did meet the shark, Bruce, when he was on set with his dad. But he said that when he watched it in its entirety and was a bit older, he couldn't he couldn't shower. He didn't want to close his eyes in what he hated, water and all that sort of thing. And I thought, me too. I think a lot of people had that.
I couldn't go into a swimming pool without thinking
yes, because you'd be like, and you knew there's nothing in the swimming pool, but it didn't matter. Your brain was switched on. So
There's a shark in that drain vent that's at the bottom of the pool in the deep end. It could be a shark.
It's going to come out. Yeah. It's amazing how your brain works. I also saw a recent interview, because that's the other story that's out there, that Robert Shaw and the other actor in the movie with him there in the boat with the glasses.
Richard Dreyfuss.
Dreyfuss, thank you. That they had a feud, blah blah blah.
Yeah, they didn't get along.
No, they did. It's a lie. No, it's a lie. Richard was in an interview, and he said, this is what happened. He said they always picked on each other, but they were friends, right? But he said there was one day in the filming of the thing where, because Robert was a drinker, right? He was an alcoholic. He was a drinker. Robert's trying to climb. This was a story as told by Richard. You can find it on the YouTube if you want. Robert was coming down the steps or something on the boat, the Orca, and when they were filming, and he had a glass of bourbon in his hand. And he says to Richard, because he couldn't quite, it was a bit wonky, can you help me out here, Richard? Meaning, can you grab my glass and hold it till I get down? Richard took the glass and said, you really want me to help you out? And he threw the glass of bourbon into the ocean. And he said everybody on the boat at the time that was helping with the filming, etc., they all went, oh no. And he said he looked at Robert's face, and Robert has given him the eyes, right? And he said that day they were filming the scene. So immediately after he's done that, he had to go to film the scene where they're trying to untangle the rope at the back of the ship before the shark comes up. Remember there's that scene? He said, so he's doing that. Well, Robert wasn't in that scene. He was standing back watching them film it because they filmed it all on the ocean. He got a fire hose and he aimed it directly at Richard Dreyfuss' face and got him right in the face with the fire hose. And Richard said, it is at that point in time that I lost my sense of humour. He said, I cracked it like it was. They fought the whole day like it was a horrible day. He pissed off, right? They were both pissed at each other. But he said back the next day, he said that all settled back to normal. He said there was no feud.
Which that is a guy thing where you will certainly give each other the business. You'll razz each other. It's like, oh, you want me to help you? Ah, ha, ha, ha. And honestly, he probably did laugh a little bit, but he was probably more upset that he didn't have a glass to pour more whiskey in afterwards than anything else.
Yeah.
But there's always that point where somebody takes it too far, like getting blasted in the face with a fire
Blasted
hose.
in the face with her. And
now
what
you're
was
gonna
it?
be like, you bastard, blah, 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 blah. But you go to sleep and you wake up, everything's cool again.
And that's how men generally deal.
Yeah.
But that was Richard's comment on the whole thing. He said there was no feud. He said we were good friends. And I've seen another interview with Richard Dreyfuss where he said that he met Robert's granddaughter. She come up to him and he cried retelling the story. He said Richard was a brilliant actor, a good friend. So he actually loved Richard. They were good friends and were friends until Richard passed away. So it's interesting how people can pick a day of bad filming and make up a whole, well, there was a feud, they hated each other. So I enjoyed watching that interview with Richard Dreyfuss because I like Richard Dreyfuss's acting. I always have, especially from Jaws, but he was in other movies I really liked as well. He was in one where he played
the third kind, one of my favorites.
Which one?
Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Oh, well, yeah, of course. That's another one that his mountain out of potato.
Yeah. This means something.
This means something. And then, someone said something. I could have been Richard. Someone said, it might have been Richard. Don't quote me on this one, but the ending of Close Encounters of a Third Kind, where Richard Dreyfuss, because he's got a family, he's got kids and everything, but at the end of it, he takes the hands of the little aliens and they take him into the ship.
Yeah. Walked away from a young Terry Garr and a bunch of bratty kids.
Yeah, but I think it's Richard, or maybe it was someone who planned the ending of that movie. It might have been Spielberg said that in the end he may have changed the ending of that, or in reality, because once you've had children, truthfully, you wouldn't walk away from them.
Never leave them, sure. Yeah.
And so he thinks the ending of the movie, although I still think it's a good ending that he goes off, but yeah, he leaves her behind, like she would have been a good match for him, you know. But he says the ending of the movie he would now, I think it was Spielberg, would do it a little bit differently, because in reality he doesn't believe being a father. It was either him or Richard. You would leave.
It goes around the same time frame where he redid E.T. to where the federal agents didn't have guns pointed at Elliot and E.T., where they had radios and stuff like that, where he went in and digitally recomposed all of that stuff.
Yeah,
certainly. He's had, differences that he's come to, later in his life, realizing that maybe this isn't the way to go, kind of thing, which there's part of me that I kind of get. However, having thoroughly enjoyed those original versions, you should never touch them. Yeah. You should never touch them after that. So,
yeah, for me to have sat down with Emily, who's never seen Jaws ever. She's heard of it, but never seen it. And I haven't watched it for 20 years. So I bet it's imprinted in my mind. I remember certain scenes. But like I said, I still got the jump scare at the right part. Even though I've seen that movie, I still jumped. But brilliantly made. There's nothing he should change.
Compared to, like today's standards, even to be fair, even in the theater as a little kid in 1975 or 4, whenever Jaws came out, the part where the shark jumps up out of the water and lands on the back of the boat and kind of sinks the orca and all that stuff. Yeah, it doesn't really hold up that well. It looks kind of hokey. But it's obviously this mechanical thing, the clong.
But it is Bruce.
Yeah. But and then then it turns into Quint, flailing and stuff like that and getting gobbled up by Jaws and drug off into the water.
But that was terrible.
Oh, that's your
No one really
classic,
wanted Quint to get eaten.
well, that's your classic Moby Dick, Ahab kind of ending, where the guy that is so crazed with sharks, where he has to get this thing and he has to kill it, where it ends up killing him and drags him off into the water. Where and even Brody is just the regular everyman throwing the oxygen tank into its mouth to just do anything, just something to try and stop it, and realizing that as the ship's sinking and he's on the very crow's mast at the very top of the thing, shooting his rifle at the thing. Smile, you son of a brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, I was thinking the other day. It was a long time ago, but I remember the Jaws ride, when they had the Jaws ride.
I've been on it.
You've been on it, but I've
been on it in Universal Studios, both the West Coast and the East Coast version. I've been on both. They're great.
Yeah, but the railing broke. On and the guy fell out and he fell in the water near the shark, and he sued. He sued because he got some injuries. The shark didn't eat him, but apparently,
to be fair, yeah, sure, I get that.
Yeah, his kids were yelling out, "The shark's gonna eat Daddy!" And but yeah, he got injuries. He sued him for money. But yeah, the railing on the but yeah, I've seen that. I think that's pretty cool that you've been on that ride.
Oh yeah, on the Hollywood version and the Florida version, I've done both. Those were great back in the day.
Yeah,
right alongside the Back to the Future ride, which is no longer in existence.
No, I remember because when Jaws came out, the book, I read Peter Benchley's book, right? And the book, the storyline is very different. It's the same, the deaths, etc. But Richard Dreyfuss's character in the book has an affair with Brody's wife.
Yes, so, I forgot all about that. You're right.
Yeah, so very different storyline.
He also dies, I think, in the book too, right?
He does. When he goes, he dies.
When the shark attacks him in the shark cage, he gets eaten.
And he gets killed. So the book is different, and I didn't realize until I watched it the other day. There's a scene on the beach where a reporter is talking about what's happening on the beach, and everyone's still sitting on the beach. No one's going back in the water, but the reporter's talking. That's Peter Benchley. I didn't know.
Oh, I didn't realize that either.
The other day.
Really?
So when you watch it and you see the reporter, dark hair, talking, that's Peter Benchley, the writer of the book. He must have been rolling in it. I wonder if he's still rich. He wrote, I think he wrote some other books, but
he had a second book which was supposed to be kind of not exactly. It wasn't a sequel by any means, but it was basically it was about like a giant ass squid. But it was like it had escaped from a secret lab where they'd done genetic experiments on it and crazy shit like that. Not a good book. It was not good. It was pretty awful. And a lot of basically it was Jaws with a squid is basically how it turns out to be. So
yeah, but Jaws, there's that's dun 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 dun, And even as a kid, or not a kid, I was a teenager when I saw it. But like if you were in the pool or whatever, you do the side thing where you pretend to be a shark, or a friend would be in the water and you'd go dun 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 dun, and they go shut up, and they get out. Even if they were in the pool, they're still, and people still, but it's still a good movie. I did go and see
the Beast, Adventures with Beth. She has that was the one with the squid thing, whatever it was.
Yeah, but I remember going to see the second movie, and the third movie, and the fourth movie. and they were all crap.
Yeah.
They were all crap.
Yeah.
They were all crap. No shark comes to a death the death of its child.
I went to the theaters for Jaws in 3D with
Yeah,
the 3D
me too.
glasses.
I saw it in 3D. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was that the one with Struth?
What was his name?
Yeah. Was married to Meg Ryan.
Yes.
Am I-
I'm totally drawing a blank on his name, but
Me too. But yeah, that was with him. He played Michael, the son, I think.
yes.
From memory.
Which,
but yeah, like
which in the original was like basically Jaws swam past him to eat somebody else. Kind of area.
and I think they kill off the little boy. The little boy gets killed off.
Yeah.
His brother. Like I just went, no, the shark's exacting revenge. And then the very last one where the mum flies off.
She's down in the
with Michael
Bahamas
Caine.
somewhere. Yes, with Michael Caine.
Oh, and I'm like, so
you
just
don't want to eat people. You don't want to eat humans. They're full of cholesterol. They're bad for you.
yeah. I remember that movie. I don't know if that went to America. Razorback. It was about a wild boar. Yeah,
Oh.
It's pretty. Some movies are really like embarrassing to watch. Dennis Quaid. Thank you.
Was
yeah,
it Dennis?
yeah, it was.
I remember it was one of the Quaids.
Hang on.
Maybe it was Dennis.
Hang on a second. Let's just be
He was
sure.
super young. He was really young.
It was a 3D movie. 3D stars. Yeah, Dennis Quaid. It was Dennis Quaid, Bess Armstrong, Leah Thompson.
Leah
Thompson.
Thompson was in that? I didn't even
Yeah,
realize.
I don't know who she played. Let's see who she played. I don't remember her being in it, but that was probably before Back to the Future, wouldn't it have been? What year was it?
It would have
Jaws 3D. Jaws.
About the
I
same
don't
time.
know. 83. It's around what time? So hang on,
Yeah,
Back to the Future.
that's before Back to the Future. That's before
Yeah.
Howard the Duck. That's
2 years. Yeah, 2 years. That's why we don't remember her being in it, because she wasn't anybody then.
She wasn't anybody.
But Dennis Quaid, I remember, because Dennis Quaid was always a good-looking man. He's still a good-looking man. They say our Russell Crowe broke their marriage up, but that's
I remember the 3D. The only 3D effect I remember that is there was a point where the shark like bit off someone's leg, and it shows just the lower, like from the knee down, this leg floating.
That looked real enough.
3D effect.
Yes.
Through the 3D
And
glasses.
the fish would be coming at you.
And then like the very end of the movie when the shark rams the little, wait a minute, wasn't Louis Gossett Jr. in that? But anyways, when the shark rams the glass from the little partition thing where they have a little underwater lab thing, where he shatters the glass. I remember that 3D effect as a kid.
He was in it. He was Louis.
Louis Gossett Jr. was in it.
Louis passed away. I remember him in that movie, the Alien movie. He played the alien, I think.
Oh, God damn it!
And wasn't that with?
And that was with Dennis Quaid as well.
It was too. What was that called? Oh my God!
Enemy Mine was the
that
name
was
of
it. That was a good movie
good
from
movie.
memory.
That was a good movie.
Yeah, there's a few. Oh, we've turned into a movie review channel.
I know.
But it's good memories.
We've gone from haunted cemeteries to Jaws 3D. I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but
no, I don't know. I don't know if Laura's still listening. She's probably not. But if you are, Laura, look it up. Actually, I'll look it up now. What's the movie? What is that show called? The Shark is Broken. The Shark of the play. Where's it playing? Where's it playing?
Europe right now, I think.
Yeah, I think it's in England.
UK and Ireland tour 2025.
I'm sure he said he's coming to America. Where can I see the? Oh, that's March. Crikey. That was Plymouth. Oh,
I
he's
can't
training
believe
him
how
now.
much he looks like his father in that role. That is
It's
so
incredible.
amazing.
I mean, he's obviously got a little bit of makeup on too, like the thing, but he's still got his father's eyes and nose and smile and
Boy.
Ian. Sure, I wanted to see. Yeah, no, he just looks like his dad. There's no escaping it. I've just looked at a regular picture of him. Here, I'll show you. Where is it? I didn't realise he'd been in a few different things. I can't. Stupid. I hate it when I can't get what I want because of stupid. Doesn't matter. But yeah, he just looks like his dad. No escaping it. From what I can understand, because he died, he was only little when his dad died, but he's got fond memories of his dad, which is nice. So I think I've seen Robert Shaw. I was watching him in an interview. Dudley Moore, Peter, can't remember Dudley Moore's. Dudley Moore. It was the Dick Cavett show again, and Dick had gone to England, and he was interviewing Dudley Moore, and Robert Shaw came out, and it was a bit of an uncomfortable interview at the start because it almost looked like we was having words with Dudley's. Peter. Can't remember the partner, Peter's comedy partner, Dudley Moore's comedy partner. But it was a really good interview after that. And he astonished me. He was really smart and really nice. Because when you watch him in Jaws, you think, what an asshole.
Right.
But he was a really good actor.
I think his other big part, even before that, was
he won an Academy Award for it. He did win an Academy Award. Oh, unless it's something else you're thinking of, but I can't remember.
I was thinking he was a heavy. He was like a Russian bad guy for James Bond in one of the James Bond movies.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Yeah, because he can certainly play a bad guy. But yeah, I know he did win an Academy Award. I can't remember what for. And he was a Shakespearean actor. That was the other thing Richard Dreyfuss was saying, that he said to Richard Dreyfuss, I want to play Shakespeare with you. Like, we'll play against each other. And Richard Dreyfuss said, yeah, not for at least another 10 years, he said, because you'll just make me look like a crap actor. He said, yeah, let me get a bit more experience under my belt, then I will. So that would have been good to see. I like watching Shakespeare, but I like to watch it with actors who know how to do it. Like, because some actors don't know how to, like I watched, there's an old movie, it's not that old. It was probably in the 90s, mid-90s, Much Ado About Nothing. Keanu Reeves is in it. And Denzel Washington is in it. But they can't do Shakespeare. But the other actors, Kenneth Branagh and Emma.
Yeah, Robert Shaw was a Russian bad guy, as like a main bad guy in From Russia with Love with Sean Connery.
There you go. But I do love watching good actors.
That's where I'd seen him before, at least.
There you go. Yeah, like he's been in lots of. Robert Shaw was in a lot of British movies and things back in the day, and Shakespearean. But yeah. So if anyone hasn't watched Jaws in a while, you should watch it, because I only watched it the other week, as I say.
It's a classic. It's a summer requirement.
It hasn't lost. It hasn't. It's not. I've watched a lot of movies. For example, horror movies. I said to my daughter, I said, I remember Nightmare on Elm Street being really scary. Watch that with me. Oh, it was pretty terrible. All the death scenes and stuff. For the day, it was well done for the day. But
I have my own like personal thing as far as Freddy Krueger goes. You know those like local JC sponsored haunted houses where they put on the mask of, I'm Freddy Krueger, be scared kind of a thing. My little sister went to one of these things where they had Freddy Krueger, and that she was horrified of Freddy Krueger. And he popped up like several times throughout the thing, and she sees the exit, and she's like just doing the quarterback rush for the exit to get the hell out of this haunted house thing that she's in, where people actually like reach out and grab you, kind of a haunted house. And Freddy Krueger jumps in, like, you're all mine, or whatever it is. She doesn't even know what he said, because she just wallops this dude in this Freddy Krueger outfit and just knocks him out flat on the ground and runs past him to get the hell out of there. It's like, I can't really respect Freddy Krueger when I know my little sister took him out. It's
no, I'm not a big horror movie fan either, but those particular ones I saw because they were on at the drive-in, when drive-ins were a thing, and a bunch of us would go to the drive-in and you'd watch, like Nightmare on Elm Street 1, and followed by, Friday the 13th, followed by whatever, and it was a night at the cinema. So that's when I saw them, because I personally don't like watching horror movies. Jaws is as close as I get. But yeah, and it's funny too, the ghost train ride. We've got a place called Luna Park down in St Kilda, Melbourne, that I don't know if they've still got one in Sydney, because there was they probably have. There was a ghost train fire in Sydney's one where kids burnt to death. But down in Melbourne, our ghost train, my memories of going on the ghost train in St Kilda's Luna Park were that you would get on the ghost train and you go through, and as you go through, different people would reach out and touch you, or something could, you'd get a fright. I went on it a couple of years ago and said to the girls, come on, I'll go on the ghost train with you, fully expecting to get a fright when someone jumped out and touched me. Nothing happened the whole ride. No one jumped out, no one touched me. And it was really piss poor. And I got out at the end and I said, I'm disappointed, I said to the girl. And she said, why? And I said, well, no one jumps out or touches you or anything anymore when you go through the ride. And she looked at me and she said, we've never had that. I said, oh, yeah, you have. And there was another older fellow who obviously remembered that. And he goes, oh, yeah, that was half of going on the ghost train. And I turned and there was another fellow a bit older working there. And he goes, oh, we had to stop it. I said, why? He said, because they were getting hit.
My sister was apparently on the ride.
I think your sister went there. Yeah, I think your sister. So that was it. They were getting, people were like, and punching people. I'm like, oh, darn it. And they used to have another ride called the Love Tunnel, and you'd get on the little, it was full of, I can't remember what was in the Love Tunnel. I went on the Love Tunnel. Well, it was a thing that you'd get on and cruise through on the water and with your partner or whatever. But kids could go on it too. So, but that's not there anymore. Oh, the Thing, the old one. Oh, hang on.
Well, the original,
the one with what's
the
his
black
face?
and white version with James Arnaz was the bad guy, the Thing.
Yeah, but who was a really well known actor? Blue eyes, blonde hair, well known actor, rode the motorbike in the war movie.
In the war movie?
He was in a war movie where he escapes on a motorbike. Shit. I'll just put the cast in. But I think, hang on, that Thing.
Well, there's the car.
Hang on, you're talking about the one with Russell. I'm getting confused. You're talking about the one with my other favourite actor, Kurt Russell. That's the one you're talking about?
Yeah, the Carpenter version is that version, which is great. It's awesome. It's certainly your top 10 of any list for the Thing. But the original version, which is 50s black and white kind of schlock, James Arnaz was the bad guy, which went on to become Marshall Dillon from the old Gunsmoke show. Was the monster kind of, so to speak, in there. But the Kurt Russell version, though, that is the standard that all movies should be compared to after that.
Yeah, the one that the thing that was the same storyline, but it was made back in 51. That's the one I remember, but I certainly remember the Kurt Russell one because I've always had a crush on Kurt Russell.
Just seen from across the room. So
hey, oh yeah, you have. At least you've been in the same room as Kurt Russell. I've only ever seen it. I love him in that movie.
And he was a great human being. That was the pleasure of all of that experiences. He was a regular dude.
Yeah, and he always seems that way. Big Trouble in Little China, is that what it's called?
Oh,
Big Trouble.
There's so many quotable lines from that entire movie that is just it's so great. That movie.
That was so cool. That was a good movie. That's a movie I might watch again. I haven't seen that in years, but that's friggin' funny. Oh dear. Yeah. Oh, Doctor Who back in the day. Yeah. Doctor Who lost it for me. Actually, I did watch a little bit of an episode the other day with the one that came after David Tennant, Matt
Smith.
Matt Smith. He actually didn't do a bad job. It's a storyline.
No, he was very good.
He was very good, but the storyline went shitty after that, and I haven't watched it since. But I loved David Tennant. He was an excellent Doctor. He was really good, and the old ones. I like some of the old ones as well.
I'm a Tom Baker guy at heart, although I am rewatching all of the ones before him. Some of the ones that Tom Baker was like my introduction to.
See you, Christian. Have fun at the tip.
But I'm rewatching some of the older ones before that, so I'm getting into Persia. I'm really liking some of the Pertwee episodes that I'm seeing.
But there you go. Look how long we've been talking, because we've been talking about movies, 2.5 hours. And now I'm wondering.
We're talking about KFC bowls and movies. That's what we've got.
And my tummy's rumbling. I've got a rumbly tummy. Oh dear. But yeah, we should talk about movies more often. I don't mind that.
We can do a movie show if you like.
Yeah, we can do a movie show. We can pick our favourite movies. You guys that are still being lovely and tuned in, you should send me. I'll put a little thing up. What are some of your favourite movies? Not horror movies necessarily, just all-time awesome movies. And we can talk, because Jaws isn't really a horror movie, and certainly Big Trouble in Little China isn't a horror movie. I did like Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker, the first movie with them. What was it called? Where Chris Tucker is, I think Chris Tucker has to go to China. They play cops. What was the name of the movie? I can't remember. Oh, and there was another movie, 48 Hours, with Eddie Murphy and Nick Nolte. There's so many good movies made back in the 80s. So many. They don't make good movies anymore. Not that I've seen. I don't know. I did see, I was watching one of Jamie Kennedy, who was in the Scream movies. He played the guy. Jamie Kennedy's a comedian, stand-up comic, but he was live the other day, and I asked him a question, because I've watched his movie called Don't Suck, and it's a vampire movie, and it's good. I enjoyed it. It's called Don't Suck, right? It's a comedy. And I said to him, are you going to make it? Because there could be, because of the ending. I said, are you going to make a sequel? And he said, yes. So I'll be interested in that. So that's another movie. If you like Jamie Kennedy from the Scream movies, so in the Scream movies, and if you know who Jamie Kennedy is, then I don't need to explain, but in the Scream movies, he's the guy that tells everybody what the rules are. He's the one that nothing happens to in the first movie. He's the one that in the video shop, he's talking about movies and stuff. He's funny. But yeah, he's good. I like him. Bad Boy. What's that one? Aussie movie Bad Boy Bubby, based on a true story. Ooh, hang on a second. It sounds like a horror movie. Let me quickly look it up. Bad Boy Bubby. Ugh. The Bad Boy, a crime comedy drama. Let's have a look. Okay, so what? I don't know. Hope stars as the titular character, a mentally challenged man who has been held captive in his home by his abusive mother for his entire life. It sounds like most men's lives for a while. The storyline follows his escape from confinement and subsequent journey of self-discovery. The film was shot on a low budget in Adelaide and is an international co-production between Australia and Italy. Bad Boy Bubbly premiered at the 50th Venice International Film Festival in September 1993. Oh, I don't know. He's picked up by members of the Salvation Army and wanders into the town centre, harassed by members of the public, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I'll have a look. Interesting. Bad Boy Bubby. Bad Boy Bubby. Is it Bad Boy Bubby or Bad Boy Bubba? Oh, no. I've already got rid of it. But anyway, whatever it is. Yeah, I don't know. The storyline doesn't really grab me either. But I'll tell you one that did. The one based on the Stephen King movie where she bashes his ankles. It's a Stephen King story, movie / whatever, and it's the woman who's a real fan of an author, and he comes to her house, she ties him to the bed, and then to stop him from getting away, she smashes his ankles with a thingo. James, he's dead now. He was the guy. I can't remember. Then I definitely don't want to watch that. That's sicko stuff. Ew. Misery, that's the name of the movie. Have you got your sound turned off, or have I?
My sound was turned off. I don't know why.
Oh, that explains why I couldn't hear you.
I could have won the Misery contest. God damn it.
Oh, you won. Okay. He raps. Yeah, then I'm not watching anything that shows something horrible to a cat. No.
What?
No, you can keep that movie then, Banshee. Kathy Bates. Yeah, she's a good actress. James.
Certainly plays the psychopath quite well.
Yeah, what's the actor's name? James. He was in The Godfather. James.
Caan. James Caan.
James Caan. Yeah. He's another good actor. He's a good actor. Yeah. Well, I won't be watching poor Bubby. I don't need nightmares. Anything that involves hurting an animal, I can't stomach. Even though I know it's only a movie and they haven't really hurt anybody, it's still, I can't stomach it. I just can't. I just can't. Back in the olden days when they made the cowboy movies and where horses had fallen stuff, they really actually tripped the horses with wire.
Yeah.
Back in the day. That's where
they would actually,
amongst other things. Yeah, amongst other animals.
That's why today they have to have the disclaimers on there. No animals were harmed in the filming.
That's correct. And that's why now when they have movies where they've got animals in them too, they have to have those people, the animal protection people there on set to make sure that they don't. Yeah, I mean, God knows what other horrific things they did to animals back in the day, but I knew the horse one because I loved horses, and I used to think, oh no, all those horses, or not all of them, but a lot of them would have had to have been put down. They would have probably broken a leg or something, let alone, not to mention the humans on the back of them that would have obviously been told you're going to be tripped, but still. Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it, Banshee. But there you go. Well, guys, I reckon Enzo and I have made up for lost time, and we'll be back next week. We'll talk about other stuff, and in the meantime, I'll pull my finger out this weekend and put my little.
Even though I didn't talk about what I did last weekend.
Oh, that's right. I'll go on then. Tell everybody what you did last week.
No, nobody cares. We are. I'm certainly ready to wrap up. So. Go
Oh,
ahead.
all right. Well, then we can talk about. We can talk about. Ow! I hurt my foot. We can talk about that next week. How's that sound? Because I know it was a haunty thing, and we didn't get around to it. That's what you did, didn't you? You went with Jess and everything.
Haunty stuff. Yep.
Yeah. All right. We'll definitely talk about that next week with Enzo. Hey, Jethro. So thanks everybody for joining me today. And Enzo, of course. And Enzo came in at last minute because I was bored earlier. Normally speaking, I'd come on a little bit later, and I thought,
start early. Is that okay? It's in 20 minutes. What the fuck? Okay, I guess I'll start.
And thanks for joining me, everybody. And I'll put up a little thing, and next week we'll talk about that after we talk about what Enzo did last weekend, which was pretty cool. So we'll talk about it. All right, everybody, enjoy your Saturday. No, it's Saturday for me, or is it Sunday for me? What is today?
It's
better
Sunday
check.
for
No,
you.
it's Sunday
Saturday.
for me. Oh, geez. Yeah, back to work tomorrow. So, yeah, have fun, everybody. It's a Saturday night for you guys. Have a good Saturday night.